here. Thank you everyone for being here. I hope everyone's relaxing when a break. We will start with names, pronouns, and positions. Vicinity 2.
Hi, my name is Marisol. I'm PFC 7C2. I use she, her pronouns.
Hi guys, thanks for being here tonight. My name is Jess Fisher. I use they, she pronouns and PFC Science C3.
Hi, my name is Taylor. I use he, him pronouns.
Hi, I'm Piper Smith. I use she, her pronouns and I'm C6 on CFC.
Hi, I'm Samuel Broussard. I use we, him pronouns and I'm Senate C DFC.
Hey everybody, my name is Bella Hopper-Hay. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm DFC Senate Seat 9.
Hi, I'm Olivia Heffernan. I use she, her pronouns. I'm DFC.
My name is Iveta Modiefish.
Hi, my name is Zoe James Cox. I use she, her pronouns. I'm Senate Seat 12 and I use she, her pronouns.
Hello everyone, I'm Cole Stevenson. I use he, him pronouns. I'm the academic committee chair and Senate seat 15.
My name is Robin Bailey. I use he, him pronouns. I'm Senate seat 18, representing the School of Journalism and Communication.
Hi, my name is Bridget Madariaga. I'm Senate seat 21, representing undecided majors, and I use she, her pronouns.
Hi, I'm Taylor Fisher. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm academic seat 22.
Hi, I'm Sarah Clisbury. I use she, her pronouns. I am Senate seat 23.
I'm Sierra and I use Martha.
Hi, my name is Erin Huffman. I am Senate Seat 20 and also the
My name is Quadrin Gill. I'm Senate 7 Contracts Finance Committee, and I'm the ASUO Senate Speaker. Moving forward on the agenda, we have the land acknowledgement. Do we have a senator who wants to read the land acknowledgement? Senator.
The University of Oregon is located on Kalapuya Lihi, the traditional indigenous homeland of the Kalapuya people. Following treaties between 1851 and 1855, Kalapuya people were dispossessed of their indigenous homeland by the U.S. government and forcibly removed to the Coast Reservation, Western Oregon. Today, Kalapuya descendants are primarily citizens of the Confederated Tribes of Grand Ronde and the Confederated Tribes of Siletz Indians, and they continue to make important contributions to their communities, to the UO, the lands now known as Oregon. And following the Indigenous Protocol of acknowledging the original people of the lands we occupied, we also extend our respect to the 9 federally recognized Indigenous nations of Oregon: Burns Paiute Tribe, the Confederated Tribes of the Coos, Lower Umpqua and Sislaw Indians, Confederated Tribes of the Grand Ronde, the Confederated Tribes of Siletz Indians, the Confederated Tribes of the Umatilla Indian Reservation, the Confederated Tribes of Warm Springs, the Coquel Indian Tribe, the Cow Creek Band of Umpqua Tribe of Indians, and the Klamath. We express our respect to the many more tribes who have ancestral connections to this territory, including the Chinook Indian Nation and the Fort McDermott, Paiute, and Stoney tribes, as well as to all other displaced indigenous peoples who call Oregon.
Thank you, Senator Fisher. Next, we will move to the approval of the agenda. Senator Fisher.
I move to approve the agenda.
Second Peters.
Motion made by Fisher, seconded by Questenberry. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. And the agenda is approved. Moving forward to announcements, do we have any members of the public or senators who wish to make an announcement? It's not on the agenda. Yes, please come up.
Is this on?
Yeah.
Okay. I know most of you guys in the room, but for those of you who I don't know, I'm Sophia. I'm an organizer with Osberg Students and wanted to give a quick update on the work that we are doing this upcoming term. We are launching a couple of new campaigns, or switched up our campaign mix a little bit heading into the winter term based off of things that will help us drive some major organizational priorities we have this year to reach a bunch of students on campus and develop strong student leaders, and are also just major organizing and legislative opportunities in Oregon heading into this term. And so we are working on a number of campaigns this year, continuing our work to tackle student hunger, working to protect our oceans, in particular, working to pass a bill in Oregon that will increase funding for our state wildlife action plan, which is one of the biggest conservation opportunities that we have in the state of Oregon this year, especially in such a crazy short legislative session with a really tight budget. So it's something that we're going to be working together with a bunch of conservation groups all across the state coming together. We're bringing back our campaign to save the bees, working to tackle some seeds and tackle some of the worst kinds of killing pesticides in our state. And bringing back our campaign to tackle fast fashion, working to get the CEO of Forever 21 to make a public commitment to not trashing or burning any unworn and unsold clothing in the United States. This is a campaign that we are driving nationally with student groups all across the country, working in places from the East Coast, the South to the West Coast to show broad-based student support all across the country. I'm excited to bring back corporate campaigning to our work in the Northwest this year with this campaign. Want to keep the update short, so just have a couple of quick things. Wanted to throw out a save the date. We are hosting our Oregon State Lobby Day on Wednesday, February 18th. So the RSVP form will come out in the next couple of weeks. I'll send it to Sam to send in your guys' group chats. But again, anyone that's interested in joining us is more than welcome to come join us and help drive some of our key priorities in the state this year. And we're also running our big campus-wide recruitment drive for the winter term. Over the course of the past couple of days, over 200 students have identified interest in getting involved in our campaigns. We're excited to keep reaching out to them and keep doing some more work to make social change in Oregon in the next couple of weeks. So thanks, guys.
Thank you so much for sharing. We all appreciate the work that Osprey does. Thank you. Anybody else from the gallery? Senator Bailey.
Hi. Okay. Madeline Ford, who is an organizer with YDCA, she's the SFC chair this year, Socialist Feminist Committee chair. Part of a coalition of orgs working toward medicated abortion on campus. She's speaking with Max Jensen, and I was in the room seeing if we could author some kind of resolution in support of medicated abortion and also think about what could actually do beyond just a resolution. I mean, ASUO is already in collaboration with this effort, but I'm thinking about money. Anyway, I'm moving to start a working group to write a resolution in support of medicated abortion on campus.
Second.
Motion made by Bailey, seconded by Offerday. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. And the working group is now formed. And with our working groups, we have quite a few right now. I'll put out a list here soon of all the working groups that file. We can start working on them. And then next up, we will go Brayden Higley, Secretary of Basic Needs.
Hello, senators. Can everybody hear me? Hello, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, perfect. All right. I believe there's a presentation that I sent over to Speaker Gill. If you guys, I don't know if that's loaded up. I can't quite see the TV screen on Zoom.
I'm gonna try to pull it up.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I'm on numbers. You want to continue?
All right, perfect. Am I good to go?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. All right, thank you guys so much for having me. For those of you who have not met, my name is Brayden Higley, and I'm the ASUO Executive Secretary of Basic Needs. And I am here to give a week of relief impact report from last term. Can I get the next slide, please? So on October 30th, this body, the ASUO Senate, approved a surplus request for the executive branch in the amount of $2,500 to help our branch carry out what we called Week of Relief. Week of Relief was one of the three components in our emergency plan when the government shut down due to federal funding, and it affected SNAP payments for UO students. Can I get next slide, please? So where exactly is it good?
It's on the next.
Okay, perfect. So exactly where the money went. Um, about $500 of the money was spent for buying non-perishable foods to hand out to students. This was in addition to one of our officers' parents donating over $200 worth of food to add to this amount. Approximately $1,500 of it went to programming costs such as foods, drinks, etc. And then the remainder 500 is now for continued basic needs programming. If I could get next slide, please. So a little bit on the impact that the executive branch, with help of Senate, was able to make. During Week of Relief, we were able to feed an average of 147 students per event. With the 500 from Senate and then also from our flyer campaign, which I'll talk about in a minute. We distributed 1,200, not 1,200 non-perishable food items directly to students. And in this, we also grew partnerships with local organizations such as Tracktown Pizza, who gave us over $400 off of our order to help us be able to feed more students. Can I have next slide, please? And then into addition to Week of Relief, the executive branch, with help of quite a few senators, also ran a flyer campaign asking community members to donate to students losing SNAP benefits. We were able to flyer over 980 houses with the help of multiple organizations, exec, Senate, YDSA, multiple fraternities, the Student Sustainability Center. Um, yeah, can I have next slide, please? I want to thank all of you guys for your support and the executive branch's help with this. I want to give a special shout out to Speaker Gill, Deputy Speaker Luterman, and Senators Smith, Quensenberry, and Bailey for your help during the events and as well as flyering. And I'm happy to answer any questions that you guys may have.
Awesome. Thank you, Braden. Thanks for coming and presenting and sharing what you all are up to. Do we have any questions for Braden? All right, awesome. Thank you so much, Braden.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda, we have President Moreno.
Hi, everybody. Can you hear me well? Is that a yes? Sorry. Okay, thank you. Hi, my name is Priscilla Moreno, ASUO president. Thank you for having me today. I hope you all had a restful winter break. Today, I'm going to be talking about a proposal for a working group, which the name of the working group is not final, but for now I have it as ASUO for Hispanic Serving Institution and Latinx Center. To give a little bit of context, there is a document that I believe you all got or is attached to the agenda. I'm sure it goes without having to be said, but the current political climate obviously makes certain communities on our campus very vulnerable. And with conversations that I've had with upper administration, their stance on things like ICE on campus has been concerning. Cole can speak a little bit about this before making the working group because he's part of UO Senate, where there was a question that he asked on ICE on campus and repercussions for students who try to protect their peers from ICE. So because of that, we have expedited this goal of creating a Latinx center. It's been something that I wanted to do from the start, but with everything getting worse and worse by the day, it's just we've kind of sped up the process, and I'm hoping to get the legislative branch on board, starting with the working group and doing a couple of things. I'm working with the president of the Latin Male Alliance. His name is Giovanni Basan, and we have been working together to form a student coalition because there is currently an admin level task force working on HSI, which for context, if you don't know, it's a federal national recognition. It means Hispanic Serving Institution, but there are certain requirements to be able to have that. And I think now more than ever, the university, if it's scared to be a target to the Trump administration and doesn't want to put out public statements or send all campus emails saying that they are going to commit to protecting our students, they should push for this recognition and give students things like physical space. Very much inspired by the work that I was honored to do with the SWANA Coalition. I'm sure you all know they have their grand opening soon. They had a 1 year process of winning a cultural center, which is really awesome. And of course, they had the organizational history of the encampment as well, which also put a lot of pressure, and it was a promise to create a center. But I think that we have grounds for pushing for a Latinx center given the political climate. And on this document, it outlines some things that I want the working group to focus on or accomplish aside from just writing a resolution. I would like a resolution to be passed, but I would also like the working group to coordinate with the UO Faculty Senate to build upon their 2024 resolution. They did write a resolution that was about supporting HSI and outlined the things that the university would need to do to accomplish that, like scholarships and faculty and a center, but there hasn't been much movement on that. So a follow-up resolution or letter of support from UO faculty would be really good. They tend to have more credibility, unfortunately, than the ASUO Senate. And then lastly, it would be awesome for the working group to review the ASUO financial priorities for the year and propose a specific dollar amount to be placed aside into a restricted fund solely dedicated to the creation or sustainability of the Latinx Center. I think one of the big reasons why the SWANA Center was able to get space so quickly was because ASUO gave that $30,000 last year. And when we went into meetings with admin, of course, they do want to pull out, well, that's expensive. And having ASUO support there financially obviously means a lot. I'm sure the finance committees can understand that. So if looking at surplus, the working group identifies an amount of money that would be appropriate to put aside and so that we can be able to say in meetings, we have this money and it's possible. That's pretty much it. Of course, there can be more priorities. I just didn't want it to stop at a resolution because I think a lot of work needs to be done and needs to be done very fast. So I'm happy to answer any questions, and I would like to ask Cole, I guess, to expand a little bit about, why a student coalition is really important given what we've heard from administration.
Sure. So for added context, for those of you that haven't heard me rant about this already, when I was at Faculty Senate, they brought an ICE representative to speak about, I don't know if it was a general counsel. Oh, general counsel, sorry. To speak about the faculty and what would happen to them if they were to stop someone from an ICE representative from stepping in and taking a student away, or any active verbal assistance is not allowed and things of that nature. And I asked the question of what would happen to students if they were to put themselves in harm's way and stop the agent from taking someone that's suspected of being an illegal alien. And the representative answered essentially that there is a code of conduct at this university. And that was the immediate answer I received. And from there, I was not very pleased. And over the winter and talking to Priscilla and realizing that UO is not an HSI and does not have a Latinx Center, I would like to make the motion that there is a working towards UO being an HSI and having a Latinx Center.
Made by Stevenson, seconded by Ludeman. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. And the motion is passed. Thank you so much, Priscilla. Thank you so much, Cole. This is a great call to action and a great step-by-step plan for how we can help support students. So thank you.
Thank you, guys.
And next we have public forum. Is there anybody in the public that wishes to come speak for public forum? We'll go into financial business. Surplus is currently at $307,580. Unallocated reserves at $27,455. And we will start with our transfer request from Sports and Entertainment Law Forum. Motion to table. Senator Fisher,
I move to table the request from sports and entertainment law. Second Peters.
motion made by Fisher, seconded by Peters. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. And the request has now been tabled. That is the third time we've tabled that request, so I will be denying the form to engage after this. Senator Quessenberry?
Law school isn't back till next week. So that might be why.
Okay, I'll reach out then first and then well,
Yeah, no, they're totally fair to deny it, but I'm just context.
no, that.
They are not
that-
back on campus yet.
Yeah. Thank you. Next, we have Align Magazine.
Guys.
Thank you so much for being here.
Stay calm, it's going.
You can take the mic out if you want to.
This is okay. My name's Mia. I've been here before. I'm just talking about a little bit of a transfer request today. I think I've gone over what Align Magazine did in the past. I have some new issues from Evergreen, which came out like late last term. So if you haven't gotten them, we managed to find an extra box in our storage unit that we thought we had already given out. That's extras here. So if you want to pick one up afterwards, I'll just like place it over there. I don't want it. But so we're talking about a little bit of a transfer request. So as you guys know, we give out print magazines, but we also have we reach the majority of our audience through Issue, which is the online magazine platform. They changed their billing cycle and then also their billing amount. So it was a little bit more, came a little bit earlier than we were expecting this year. And so since that is a subscription, I pay for it personally and then go through the reimbursement process. And so we were expecting to fund it in a different way, and that just wasn't possible given the timeline that we had. And so we are requesting to transfer the set amount from our advertising and kind of marketing line item to a new line item for subscription. That would just be the exact amount that we need to pay for this in this amount, and we really pay for it until next December. So yeah, that's really kind of it.
Great, thank you. We will start with Senator Fisher.
Thanks so much for being here. I'm gonna make the motion, but I just had a quick question about, so the money that we're moving from advertising, how do you plan to reconcile the fact that now there's less money in?
Yeah, so we use the advertising and that's under programming. So we use it mainly to kind of host events here on campus, whether that's tabling or a lot of times we'll do craft nights. We have a make your own button night coming up that we're going to do with Oregon Voice too, and try to get some more student publications in on, so people can come and kind of make their own clip-on button or whatever. So we used it to kind of buy a lot of supplies we use for those events, and also purchase or kind of rent the space for the day. And so we've been kind of partnering actually with a lot of other clubs that are willing to take on those costs of kind of tabling and whatnot, just for kind of partnership, and then we'll do more behind the scenes work, so kind of making socials and whatnot. So we've been finding out ways to make it a lot more achievable, and we also are now recognized with the SOJC. So we've been working with the SOJC to get micro grants for stuff. So we just got a micro grant because we're doing a site trip to Portland to visit some publishers in the spring. So we've been now kind of shifting to getting some of our funding from the SOJC.
That is so fun. I love all that, especially the collaboration. Okay, I'm gonna make a motion. I move to transfer funds from within the group Align Magazine, OS number OS312I, from existing line item advertising to new line item subscriptions in the amount of $2,259.
Second Peters.
Motion made by Fisher, seconded by Peters. Senator Vila.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm just curious, what's your plan for the future?
Yeah, so a lot of times we will do kind of external fundraising to pay for it. So we'll work kind of with additional kind of companies and stuff, but that always happens in the spring. And so we do not have those funds currently to pay for it, because in the past we worked with that and they're willing to kind of cover part of it. And so since that happens in the spring, we do not have those funds currently. So in the future, we will use the funds that we will get this spring, and it will be saved to pay for it next time. So this is kind of a one-time little flip that we have going on.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
All right, we'll now move to vote. There's no more questions. Starting with Senator Perez. Peters.
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
O'Neill.
Aye.
Taylor. Smith.
Aye.
Broussard. Offerhead. Heffernan. Diape. Jenkins Hiscox. Chisholm. Nagarajan. Stevenson. Bailey.
Aye.
Morel. Dariaga.
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
Questenberry.
Aye.
Ludeman.
Aye.
And I say aye as well. Congrats, guys. Thank you. And next up, we have a transfer request from ASA. Parent Student Association. Some time. Whenever you're ready, you can come and present your transfer request.
Yeah, the pizza's gonna get cold.
Alright, how's it going? My name is Hattie and I'm on the finance chair for the Arab Student Association. And basically what this transfer request is just we're kind of taking all the funds we had fall term and putting it into a new line item for winter term events. And this is just so we're not going to surplus for like new funds. The reason why we have so much money is because towards the beginning of the term we had some like reimbursement issues. So you know, we kind of just want to use all that money before we go to surplus last month. And yeah, it's basically what.
I'm sorry, could you highlight the reimbursement issue or like what?
Yeah, I mean, it was like mainly just like food reimbursements. So like towards the beginning of the year, it was kind of unclear like catering before we can have at an event. So I think like for the first 2 or 3 events, we would try to get reimbursed for, and they would like deny it just because we didn't have a catering waiver.
Oh, that makes sense. Thank you.
Yeah.
I want to make a motion. I move to transfer funds within the group Arab Student Union OS number OS 140I from existing line item fall term to new line item winter term events in the amount of $1,072.
Motion made by Fisher, seconded by Perez. Questions? We now vote. Starting with Perez. Peters.
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
O'Neill.
Aye.
Taylor. Smith.
Aye.
Broussard. Offerhead.
Aye.
Heffernan.
Aye.
Diape. Jenkins Hiscox.
Aye.
Chisholm. Stevenson.
Aye.
Bailey.
Aye.
Morel. Dariaga.
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
Questenberry.
Aye.
Ludeman.
Aye.
And I say aye as well. Congrats.
Appreciate it, guys.
Then moving into our surplus request for the evening. First up, we have the Rising Project. Senator Fisher.
I move to table for the request from project. Second.
Motion made by Fisher, second with Questenberry. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. Continue. Next, we have the Association of Pre-Position Associates. Hello. Thank you all for being here.
Thank you all for having us today. My name is Alexis. I'm the president of the Association of Pre-Position Associates. Some of you might also know it as the Pre-K Club. Just a short little overview of who we are. We're a student group on campus that aims to provide resources to students on the pre-health track, specifically those on the PA track. And so I'm going to hand it over to Dia to talk more about our surplus request for one of those resources.
Hi everyone, I'm Dia. I'm the treasurer of Association of Pre-Position Associates. So we are requesting a amount of $720 to help us fund a BLS CPR certification workshop. So basically what CPR BLS is basic life support. I'm sure you guys have heard of CPR, but BLS stands for basic life support. And so usually the cost for an individual is around $80 to $90. So we have already allocated $1,300 for originally in our budget for the CPR BLS workshop. And then we also plan to move $700 from our blood drive programming line item to our CPR BLS workshop. And then with the $720, that brings a total of $2,720. And so our plan is to have 2 sessions, 16 students each. So that would bring a total of 32 students. And then we are working with Oregon CPR And so with their rates, it is $85 per student. And so that when we calculate the $85 per student, it would bring the total that we would get from all of our funds together of $2,720.
Great, thank you guys so much for breaking that down. Dariago?
I'm gonna make a motion. I move to authorize spending from surplus to the Association of Physician Associates, OS number OS 364I in the amount of $720.
Motion made over Dariaga, seconded Stevenson. We will now continue debate. Do you yield?
I yield.
Senator Chisholm?
Can you use the like present passes on where you guys
So we meet every even weeks. We have yet to decide. I think this term we're meeting in the science library. Last term we met in Kenzie, but got science library, yay, this time. But yeah, we meet every even week from 6 to 7 p.m. And so our plan is to have this CPR BLS workshop in the spring. And that will be at the Oregon CPR location in Springfield. So our plan for that also is carpool with executive team members, and then also those willing to drive themselves or others.
Senator Bishop?
Hi guys, thanks for being here. Just I think a couple quick questions. The first question I have is about the certification itself. Is it something that the participants are like tangibly receiving, so they have evidence that like they have done this and it will help them in the future, etc.?
Yes. So I've taken a CPR class. So you could usually they have there's physical certification, but now they have been doing electronic as well. So you can get both a physical certification, I'm pretty sure, and then you also have one electronically. So then a lot of job applications, like you could just upload it, and that's they have to they really want to see just to make sure you are certified. So yeah, this is very much something that an individual will receive. And they can also go back to like Oregon CPR AHA website and like look up their like numbers that they get. And so, it's awesome.
Yeah, cool. And then in terms of who's going, that's at like how are you determining? Is it just anyone who's interested, or is it?
Yeah, I'll talk a little bit more on that. So essentially we're doing this as a sign up only event. So people will only be eligible to go. Planning on releasing in the beginning of the spring. Because we're currently anticipating a April date for the actual clinic. So we'll send out a form. People will sign up, and priority will be given to those who are, registered and are engaged as Association of Pre-Physician Associate members and at a consistently attended event. And then if there's any additional seats that other people have signed up for, once that whole people have been, selected, given spots to, then we'll just go in for some first served order after that.
Great, thank you very much. I yield.
And if there are no more questions, we will now move to vote. Starting with Perez. Aye. Peters.
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
O'Neill.
Aye.
Taylor. Aye. Smith.
Aye.
Broussard. Aye. Offerman.
Aye.
Heffernan.
Aye.
Amu-Diafe. Jenkins Hiscox. Chisholm. Natarajan. Stevenson. Aye. Bailey.
Aye.
Morel.
Aye.
Madariaga.
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
Westenberry.
Aye.
Lindemann.
Aye.
And I say aye as well. Congrats, guys. And next up, we have the Thai Student Association.
Move to table the surplus request. Second, President.
Motion made by O'Neill, seconded by Questenberry. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. And the question has been tabled. Senator Fisher.
Can someone reach out to them? I feel like this has been on for like weeks.
Yeah, there's a couple of these, but this is the third one, and I honestly didn't get to reaching out. I'm gonna reach out after this.
I
can message you today. I think this is their first one this term. This term.
Yeah, I think it's
Okay.
residual from last term.
It's the same request. It's just what like keeps getting pushed.
And then next up, we have the South Asian Cultural Alliance. Senator Stevenson.
They will be here later, but for now, I move to table the request from South Asian Cultural Alliance.
Second, Questenberry.
Motion made by Stevenson, seconded by Questenberry. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. And the request has been tabled. Moving forward to the Associated Students for Historic Preservation. Senator Fisher.
I move to table the request from Associated Students for Historic Preservation.
Motion made by Fisher, seconded by Fisher. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. And the request has been tabled. Next up, we have the Latinx Law Student Association. Thank you for coming.
Hi, everyone. My name is Lexi. I'm a law student here, and I am the co-director of events for the Latino Law Student Association. Happy to be here with you all. So a bit of background for the Latino Law Student Association. We are a organization within the law student who really serves to work with our Hispanic community within the law school and make sure that both the Hispanic community as well as other students within the law school really understand that the importance and background of having Hispanic folks be a part of the bar and pursuing legal education, as well as connecting with others outside of the law school within and with some of the other law students across Oregon, as well as across the nation, because we do have lots of folks who are at the U of O but plan to maybe practice somewhere else or leave Oregon afterwards. So we really want to connect other students with other lawyers wherever it is that they might end up, as well as help other folks understand Hispanic culture. And today we are asking for $11,600 as a surplus request. And that is because we are hoping to take our students to the Hispanic National Bar Association Conference. So this is a conference that happens every year. It is the largest conference that there is at the Hispanic National Bar, which is basically anyone who is Hispanic across nation can register as like an additional member of this bar association. And it's a really great opportunity for students to be able to, one, connect with other older folks within the field, be able to network with them, hear about job opportunities, and just generally see that there are other Hispanic folks who are lawyers and attorneys. Because even though there are about 20% of the nation is Hispanic, only about 6% of the bar is Hispanic. So it's really important to be able to connect folks with one another. So we're hoping to take about 12 students, and that is the cost for travel, lodging, and things of that sort. We have figured out how to fund the registration, which would have been $21,000. So we are asking all of our students to volunteer during that conference so we can have that part paid for. And we're also paying for the food stipend out of the budget that we already have set aside so we can pay for per diem. So the cost that's left that we're asking for is really just lodging and travel for that conference. And happy to answer any questions.
Thank you so much for breaking that down.
Yeah.
We will start questioning with Senator Fisher.
Hi, thanks so much for being here. I first wanted to say I love that you're having everyone volunteer. I think that is such a great way to include and do all the, I love that. In terms of the spending, so it's hotel and flights. Do you happen, and you could say no, do you happen to just know like what of the breakdown is flight and what of the breakdown is hotel?
I have an Excel spreadsheet, so I can pull it up.
It can also be rough if that's like that.
So I would say that, so for 12 people, about 4,000 is flights and 7,000 is the lodging.
Okay. And then is the lodging like the conference lodging or is it?
So it is the conference lodging, and we did plan to have basic members, and they said that's fine because we want to be able to take as many folks as we can with the spending that is available. But so it would be like 2 people to a bed, 2 queen beds. So we're like really trying to pack them in with the lodging. Just again, we want to take as many people as we can with obviously limited amount of money that we can get.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. I forgot another question. I just wanted to say in terms of, I support this, and I think a big piece of it is specifically for those who don't know, conference traveling, especially in grad organizations, is really important because it is quite literally the place that you find jobs. Like, if you don't go to a conference, you're not going to get a job, basically. That's kind of how the grad market works. And so I think that this, for grad organizations, I think conferences are really important things to go to for the job opportunities that you get from them. And that's all. I'm just a support. Thank you.
Thank you.
Senator Kushner.
I'm also in support. I love LLSA and the law school. They do super great stuff locally within the law school, and I know that I greatly value all the work that your student organization does there. And yes, I want to echo what Senator Fisher said, that conferences are huge for legal job security. I heard a statistic like 70% of all jobs come from networking, and where better to network than at something like this that is specifically built for an affinity identity like the Hispanic National Bar Association. So I'm going to make the motion. I move to authorize spending from surplus to Group Latinx Law Student Association OS number OS 052 in the amount of $11,700 to line item conferences competitions.
Motion made by Questenberry, seconded Amodiafe. And moving forward in deliberations, Senator Fisher.
Yeah, I support this request.
Senator Ludeman.
Hi, thank you so much for coming tonight. I just had a couple questions for you. First, have you gone to this conference before?
So members from our club have before. The students that would be going this year are students who haven't been able to go before, so I personally haven't, but I know other folks who are now in their last year of law school who did go and made really great connections, and also were able to like come back and connect the club with attorneys who then like came to spoke at club events. So I haven't, but others have.
As like a club, I guess like previously the club itself has gone.
Yes. Yeah, the members, I think there's maybe 2 students who are still at the school that went last year, and the rest have graduated.
And do you know, or was it just last year, or how did you come across this conference?
Yeah, so we, as the Latino Law School Association, we're connected with the Oregon Hispanic Bar. So, and they are a part of the kind of larger conference. So we also have students on our board who volunteer with the Oregon Hispanic Bar, and they let us know that the conference is coming up and that it would be a really great opportunity to kind of meet with folks outside of just Oregon, who are, also practicing law in other areas.
Rez.
Yeah, thank you for being here. This sounds really nice. I think it's very beneficial. My only question is, looking at your guys' ledger from last year, looks like you guys requested 47,000 for this conference and only spent 25,000 of it, leaving almost 22,000 unspent for this. Are you able to go over why and just kind of make sure this doesn't happen again this year for it to go through?
Yeah, so last year, I think they had kind of put the request through. Also, the rest of that money, I do believe, was returned. But when they had the request through, I think they had to kind of put out kind of general feelers and wanted to plan for more students than not being able to take enough students, and did have a lot of specifically first year students drop out just because that's right when a very major assignment is due for all first year students. So they ended up having a lot of them drop out. We have kind of connected more with our students this year to make sure specifically for the first year students that they are aware of that deadline and that there will be a lot kind of going on in that time, and really, encourage them, but also kind of caution them about signing up, and that it's not just, putting your name out on a form, but they are signing up to go to this conference. And I think part of that's also alleviated by the fact that everyone had to fill out an application to volunteer and be approved, elected to volunteer at the conference before they could even, be selected to go. So I think that will also help this year, kind of making sure that we're actually taking that amount of students.
Gotcha. And the 12 people, are they
already like solidified to be able to go?
Yes, so the 12 students that we have, they've all been approved as, they are all applied and have been approved as volunteers for the conference.
Thank you. I yield.
Senator Peters.
I'm also totally in support of this. I think there's a really, especially a value in going to affinity specific professional conferences. I just wanted to check that is there a buffer on the flight estimate?
I do believe that there is about a $20 to $30 buffer on the flight estimate, because when we were looking at tickets, I do want to say it was in December. So we just weren't sure if that was going to go up. We're hoping that because it's kind of like a random time in March, it's not going to go up very much. But I mean, we're open to choosing it. But yeah, there's a bit of a buffer.
And they're fully refundable flights.
Yeah, we did look for those ones.
Okay. Awesome. Cool. Thank you.
All right, if that concludes questions, we'll move to vote. We'll start with Senator Perez.
Aye.
Peters.
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
O'Neill. Taylor. Smith.
Aye.
Sorry.
Aye.
Opperman.
Aye.
Heffernan.
Aye.
Diapag. Jenkins Hiscock.
Aye.
Chisholm. Stevenson. Bailey.
Aye.
Morrell. Madariaga.
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
Westenberry.
Aye.
Ludeman.
Aye.
And I say aye as well. Have fun, guys. And then I'm gonna move to bring to the table the request from Thai Student Association.
Seconded, Fisher.
Motion made by Hill, seconded by Westenberry. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. And we'll now hear the request from Thai Student Association.
We have flight.
Yes.
You can introduce yourself and I'll put up.
Paul, I'm the coordinator for this year.
My name is Ariana and I am the finance intern for this year.
My name is Jocelyn. I'm the treasurer for this year.
Alright, I just wanted to say something about Thai Student Association in general. We are like a club that bring everyone from all background to learn about Thai cultures, because I believe that Thai culture we not have just Pad Thai or like Thai tea. We have something else that like you guys gonna be interesting to you guys. And also like we try to bring TSA back, because I like when I saw in UFO have only two other Southeast Asian clubs, which is VSA and KP, and bringing TSA back as a Thai student association going to like help us understand more about Southeast Asian cultures. And yeah, so another like brief background about TSA, we used to have funding in like 2020, but then we the previous exec they didn't like submit the funding form and we get cut off from the budgeting. So this year we basically have like zero funding and we came here in fall to ask for funding for the whole fall term. And I would say like we did a really success job. Like our general meeting, we have 25 to 30 people show up. Our collab meeting have 60 to 70 people show up. And our biggest event, we have 100 people show up. So yeah. And yeah, we're going to go through for the whole winter term, the plus 3.
We can move on to the next slide.
The mic comes out.
So our PSA's goals for like UofL is to create cultivating an educational community, bringing people from all backgrounds together to learn and enjoy Thai culture, as all have said. Our most recent events were the collab, the first one being a collab with KSA, the second one being with KP, and the third one being with VSA. One of our general meetings that we had on our own was the KSA Sports Day at the Lloyd Down Festival, which is the one that had the 100 people. On our Instagram, we had a increase in our followers since we are now trying to build up PSA, like our reputation as a club organization here. Since last year, it was pretty dead, to say the least. And so, again, this year we are just trying to bring it up and bring more awareness and like.
Okay, so just like a brief overview of what we're gonna be doing this term for week 2 coming up next week, we're gonna have a game night. So a very small, not small, but like a very more low-key meeting where we're gonna be educating students on like Thai games and their history. And we're gonna have basically station set up of each of the games. One of them is a marble shooting game, very popular in Thailand. Another is a rock throwing game. And then there's not a Thai game, but it will be Thai vocabulary, using like Thai vocabulary.
For the week 4 event, we're going to learn about Thai drink. So learning about history of Thai drink, how it like start getting popular, how it become like well known. And the event will introduce Thai tea that made from a different type of Thai tea leaf, along with other popular Thai drink like Help Boy or like Thai green tea. And we also like feature and like share at this event too.
For week 6, we plan to have a workshop type of event where we plan to have someone who is experienced in Muay Thai to introduce the national sport of Muay Thai, and we'll be like learning the history of it and like some of the basics of the defense in Muay Thai, like
So we could one of our exec, like one more time that's like really popular in Portland, and he willing to like come up to us to like help this event like come on like better. Yeah. Alright. And then week 8 event is going to be Thai.
Okay, we will actually be having a event week 7, and this will be a collab with PISA, and we will basically be introducing islands in Thailand and the Pacific Islands, and we're basically planning on having a travel theme with different stations as the islands, and at these stations you learn about the different cultures and history and food, and we're really glad that we're able to collab with PISA and, both of our clubs
Going to Thai Valentine because I feel like Thai Valentine is really like different than American one. So basically this event going to explore the Thai Valentine tradition and like how Thai people celebrate Valentine Day. Also like discover like a unique activity that we do. Like we're giving a heart sticker on like everyone and like all your friends. But the biggest sticker you get to put it to the person that you have crush on. And it's gonna be like creating the special experience on campus for sure.
And for the final week of this winter time, we plan to do a like study night where anybody could join in to relax while they study with some drinks and snacks before taking the final week.
Yeah, that's pretty much our plan with hope for sure.
That was great. We'll open it up for questions. Starting with your own.
Yeah, thank you for coming. I think that this is a very straightforward request. TSU came at the beginning of last term and also got all their funding for the term, and they had some great events. I actually won a pair of elephant pants at the Lord competition. It was really cool. So I'm gonna make a motion. So I move to authorize spending from surplus to Group Thai Student Association OS 309I in the amount of $1,650 to new line item named Winter 2026 funding. Second reference.
No second by class. Board discussion, that are issue.
I yield.
Center happening.
My question got answered by Neil. I was gonna ask how you're able to throw such fun events in fall term with your budget, but apparently that was us, so I yield.
I just, I'm in complete support of this. I just had one question. For your game night, do you guys already own the materials to host the games?
I know that like it's like next week, right? So we have some of the material, but also like we're going to spend our own money and then we're going to reimburse that.
Okay, are you gonna, how much do they cost?
So it's quite literally just marbles and like fake pebbles, so
Okay.
under $5, probably, like under $10, I would say, but yeah.
I'm just, cause we have rules about like buying stuff with ASUO money, if you're gonna keep it and not give it to someone. There are rules around like storing it and stuff, that's why I'm asking. But I think it should be okay, reach out to your tag if you end up having issues. Okay, I go.
Stevenson.
My question is for Senator Peters. Since the last time they had a budget was so long ago, could it be pulled from a note? No. Okay. Thank you. I yield.
All right, I don't think you can. You have a motion. Oh, no, you have
Oh, I was just gonna say 3 years is the longest it can be, so this is the 3 year mark. So not sure. Like next year, yes.
And if that concludes discussion, we'll move to vote now. Starting with Perez, Peters.
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
O'Neill.
Aye.
Taylor. Smith.
Aye.
Broussard. Offerton. Heffernan.
Aye.
Amadiepe. Jenkins Hiscox. Chisholm. Stevenson.
Aye.
Haley.
Aye.
Morel.
Aye.
Madariaga.
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
Weissenberg.
Aye.
Ludeman.
Aye.
And I say aye. Thank you. Stevenson.
I motion to move from the table, surplus request from the South Asian Cultural Alliance.
Second Westbury.
Motion made by Stevenson, seconded by Westbury. Those in favor, aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. And we now hear the request from South Asian Cultural Alliance. We are pulling those up. You are more than welcome to introduce yourself and get started.
My name is Prickly. I'm part of SACA's Finance Committee.
My name is Kaushika. I am SACA's treasurer and the head of finance.
And we're here today to talk about our day trip that's coming up. Next slide, please. So SACA's mission here on campus is to provide a safe and inclusive space for South Asian students, whether that's international or South Asian American students, or anyone that's interested in our culture. And one way that we're seeking to do that this year is through a day trip. Next slide, please. So a little bit about our day trip is the past 2 years, we've actually been hosting weekend-long retreats. So that meant that we were leaving Friday afternoon and coming back Sunday afternoon. And it was a great opportunity for our members and other students on campus who are interested in forming bonds and connections without having the time and schedule constraints that daily university life tends to have. However, since it is such a larger time commitment, many members weren't able to join due to scheduling conflicts and just the greater commitment. And we were experiencing a higher dropout rate towards the end of, or as we got closer to the date of the retreat, since we did require commitment on going to the retreat. So as a result, SACA has decided that we'd like to transition from a retreat to a day trip, and that will be able to provide similar opportunities to create connections and community while accommodating for those who cannot commit to a full weekend on retreat.
Yeah, so this is the itinerary for a day trip. We are planning on leaving from the AMD Fishbowl at 9 a.m. and traveling to Silver Falls State Park for a hike. Following that, we'll be going to a food court for lunch, which attendees will be paying for themselves. And then we're planning on having some activities and games, and just some time for members to converse and get to know each other. After that, we'll be driving to dinner at a restaurant that's also in the vicinity. Over here, we're planning on facilitating some discussions about South Asian culture, since we do have people who are of international backgrounds, people who are from more diverse areas, but also people who are from more predominantly white areas. And we do think it would be very worthwhile to share our experiences with each other and talk about what it's like to be South Asian in the US in general, and then US specifically, especially during current times. We are also planning on doing note jars, which were a very popular activity for the past 2 years, and just a generally great way for us to show our gratitude towards our other members. I personally have my note jars from the last 2 years. And yeah, we're planning on driving back to the EMU and reaching at around 10:30 p.m. on January 24th as well. And the entire retreat is happening in and around Summerton, Oregon. Next slide, please. So this is our surplus request. We are requesting for a total of $2,000. $533 is going towards transportation. We are using ASUO motor pool. We're renting 2 12-person vans and 1 SUV. And this number was calculated using an estimation of 80 miles that we're likely to be traveling on the day of. We'll also be having a dinner at ASUO. The per diem rate for Oregon is $33. And since we have 30 attendees, that works out to $990 for that. And the parking expenses for all 3 vehicles to get a parking permit at Silver Falls State Park comes up to $36, as well as an emergency fund of $441. Like I just said, we have 30 total attendees. We set that as our max capacity, and we did reach all 30 attendees within 3 days of releasing the commitment form, which was but yeah, cost per head works out to be a little under $67. And last year's surplus request for the full weekend retreat was $8,500, which we received. So this year we have reduced costs for our retreat/day trip by $6,500. And that reduced cost will continue to carry on for as long as Saga day trips. Yeah, next slide, please. This is a quote that we got from one of our attendees as feedback. A lot of people really love the discussions on culture and identity that are kind of a staple of our retreat so far. A lot of people had a lot of fun and got closer to people that they otherwise wouldn't have talked to, and also made some really pretty good friends on the trip as well. I know I personally have made some of my closest friends at ASUO on Saga retreats, and attendance for Saga Journal events does increase and increase consistently after we host our retreats. So yeah, we would love to continue to provide this opportunity for our members to form community with each other, and also optimize the funding and resources that will go towards hosting this day trip, and hopefully that will also increase our attendance for the rest of the year as well. Yeah.
Thank you guys. Sounds like a really cool trip, and thanks for putting such a detailed agenda together. We will start with Senator Fisher.
Hi guys, thanks so much for being here. I wanted a couple of things. The first thing for the senators, this does fall, even though it's not really a retreat anymore, but if it were to fall under retreat, it does fall within all the priorities because it's under $150 per person. So we are all good on that front. I wanted to say I love this. I just have, and maybe I'm being really dramatic. If you tell me I'm being dramatic, I'm a little concerned about the picnic because it's going to get dark early. Have you thought about that?
Yes, we are actually going there this, the people who are planning the retreat are actually going to the location this Sunday to scope out perhaps some more covered areas in case of adverse weather events as well. Like if it's raining, you don't really want to just be out in the grass, out in the open. So yeah, we will be making sure that that's taken care of.
Perfect, thank you so much. And then I'm gonna make a motion. I move to authorize spending from surplus to Group South Asian Cultural Alliance, OS number OS088I, in the amount of $2,000 to new line item.
Motion made by Fisher, seconded by Questenberry. And we'll move forward to discussion. I had a quick question. If you guys aren't able to do the picnic, do you have a backup plan for like that time slot?
It is less of picnic and more because it is right after lunch. So the way the food court is structured, they have like outdoor seating, but they also do have like covered seating. So in case it is raining during the day as well, and they can still have their lunch in peace. They also do have a picnic area as part of the food court. So it is, I believe, right next to it. And we will be going there to figure out if they also have a covered area within the picnic area where we can't go if it gets like dark or if it starts raining. But yeah, when we looked at pictures of the food court, there was that area where we could do that. So we're going to see if that is still available. If not, we did check and there are other covered areas where we can go in the city.
Okay. I just want to make sure since it's a retreat to the agenda. Thank you. Senator Ludeman.
Hi guys, thanks for coming. Just like a quick note, I've been to Silver Falls and it's beautiful. You guys have a great time. I'm pretty sure that they do have like some indoor spaces as well. I don't know how late those are open because I'm not that late in the evening, but that might also be still good to double check when you guys go there. I just had a quick question about the emergency fund and how you came to that.
I believe it was specifically for transport. We've estimated 80 miles. It is obviously kind of difficult to get like an exact number on how much you are going to be traveling day of. So it was to account for that, as well as but that was the main one, and it was also just like a buffer in case there were any other last minute changes potentially that would come across. Yeah.
That's an interesting deal.
Senator Perez.
Thank you. Kind of going over the itinerary, could you break down the restaurant situation?
Breakdown as in.
Sorry, can you just like go over it? Like, you guys are planning to dine in there?
Yes. So also is a Spanish Mediterranean place that is in Silverton. They do offer private room bookings for 30 people. So the plan is to reserve a private room in there. It is an indoor space. There's a private room there so that we will be able to share discussions, converse, and overall just make fun.
I'm gonna yield it to nurse.
In the past, have you been able to use IP funds to pay for like everyone going to a restaurant?
So for the past 2 retreats, we were staying in camping sites. So our food was taken care of by the camping site. So as part of the reservation at like the lodging place itself, like I believe we went to Canby Grove our first year, and we went to the Minutia Retreat and Conference Center our second year. So they made our meals for us, and that went towards the amount of money that we were paying them for our lodging as well.
Okay, because we're just not sure if you can use IP funds to pay to take a group to a restaurant.
I did clarify this with SOPs
okay
a couple of times. They did say that we cannot do like an RTP like before the event itself, but they did say that we can get a personal reimbursement as long as we are staying under the per diem rate.
I
do. Senator O'Neill. All right, we will now move to vote. We have a motion, right? Starting with Perez.
Aye.
Peters.
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
O'Neill.
Aye.
Taylor. Aye. Smith.
Aye.
Broussard. Aye. Hopker. Heffernan. Amadiepe. Jenkins Hiscox. Chisholm. Stevenson.
Aye.
Bailey.
Aye.
Morrell. Madariaga.
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
Westenberry.
Aye.
Ludeman.
Aye.
And I say aye as well. Congrats, guys. And next up on the agenda, we have PRSSA. I believe it's on.
Yes, whatever you're.
Hello?
Okay, there we go. Okay, there we go.
Yeah. Can you guys hear us? I don't know how the Zoom situation works.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. And then we have a presentation because we figured we were on like the TV screen in the room.
Yeah,
If
I
that's-
need to, I sent a request to share my screen.
The screen won't be, like, the Zoom screen won't be the one that's on this screen, so you can send me the presentation and I can pull it up. Did you send it to Quadrian or did you send it to me?
I don't think I have anyone's emails personally.
If you send it to my email, it's gonna be sen@uoregon.edu.
I'm gonna call a 5-minute recess and we will deal with this.
Did you get it?
I'm pasting this on there. Can you repeat the email?
I was able to send one via.
Oh, you were? Okay,
Yeah.
come on. Thank you.
It's if happy to get the version. I put it in chat. Maybe it's like that.
I wish we knew we're better at emotions before it is, but I don't have to know that.
Also, PSA, my power might go out. There's like a 10% chance. But I have 2 other people presenting with me, so that won't be an issue.
I'm like reading short stories.
Okay, thanks for this now.
We did take a 500 as well. It'll be, you know, that. I don't follow. I feel like one of
Practice just.
Yeah, OG. Come out so like no color. It's just like.
Okay, the no response. That's basically I had to make sure that I had to make.
Like I really want that. Oh wait. Yes, see, on this.
I'm gonna graduate.
Dude, no, my schedule. Yeah, like this, it's like this is gonna overlap. Yes. It's more like it. The longer, the more the. Wait, what? Are you gonna hang out? No. Are you
not feeling it?
So. Yeah, basically I found that
Yeah, what's that? Right. It's one. That's the strongest thing.
It's like crying.
Like as far as mine.
Other people think, like. Former event. And also,
Are we still? Yeah.
All right, I'm calling this meeting back to order, and we will now hear the request from PRSSA. Please introduce yourselves and share a little about your request.
Hi, everyone. I'm Grace Liebenwallen. I'm our current finance director for this year.
Hi, I'm Ellie. I'm our vice president. I'm in charge of planning all the trips we go on.
And I'm Violetta. I'm the finance committee lead.
I'm not sure if we're able to see what slide you guys are on from our point of view.
First slide.
Okay, awesome. You could head to the second one. Thank you so much.
And then Violetta, do you want to just give a brief overview of what PRSSA is?
Yeah. So PRSSA stands for Public Relations Student Society of America, and it's a national organization dedicated to nurturing future leaders in the field of public relations. It provides opportunities for students to enhance their skills, expand their networks, and gain practical experience through various activities and events. PRSSA offers resources such as workshops, conferences, and publications to help students stay updated on industry trends and best practices. Members have access to mentorship programs, internship opportunities, and job placements assistance, facilitating their transition into the professional world.
Heading on to the next slide, we want to give an overview of what a PDT is. A PDT stands for a professional development tour. Essentially, these tours are where we travel to different US cities and our members get the chance to network at PR industries or in-house agencies. And we engage in hands-on learning and networking opportunities by visiting these agencies, gaining insights from professionals, and expanding our industry connections. We're planning on taking 16 members with us on this professional development tour to San Francisco in February. Participating in this tour enables members to forge connections with industry professionals, potentially leading to internships, job opportunities, and mentorship relationships. I know in a previous presentation, I heard it mentioned that 70% of jobs are found through networking. That is no different for the PR industry. I would actually bet that it's probably more. Our entire industry is based off networking. And this firsthand PR experience enhances members' understanding of the industry, trends, and best practices, ultimately preparing them for successful careers in public relations. And adding on to that, every single agency that we're planning on touring, we have gotten a slot at through an alumni connection. And the SOJC is known nationally for its extensive alumni network. It's one of the biggest draws that the School of Journalism has going for us. And so going on these trips allows us to strengthen that relationship with our alumni since they give so much to us. We want to make sure that we're giving back to them as well. And then the cycle continues and we're able to continue giving to our members and our students within the SOJC. The next slide goes over the application process. We understand that it's really important that we're bringing the best people possible to represent our chapter and our school. So it's open to all members of our chapter. We had an application that opened over winter break. These applications are highlighted on our Instagram during meetings, through our email chain, and they're spread around in pretty much every manner possible to make sure that everyone has an equal opportunity of applying for these tours. Over winter break, we conducted interviews with the people who applied who we thought would be a great candidate just to further solidify that our understanding of who's coming with us, who is going to represent us well. We initially had 36 applications for this trip, not including our team members, and that's the most we've ever had apply to a trip like this, and we've been going on these for quite some time. We originally were hoping to take 20 people, but due to budget concerns and wanting to save money, we've cut it down to 16 people. When it came to deciding who was coming on this trip, primary considerations included an emphasis on active participation and contribution during our meetings and our past trips. We have an attendance form that people fill out every meeting so that we're able to verify their participation. And we also select people based on vocal engagement and meaningful contributions during our meetings. So making sure they're asking questions so that we know if we were to bring them on this trip, we would feel confident that they would represent us well and get the most out of the experience. And also people who are personable and willing to bring it back to our chapter and share our learnings with the rest of the school. And this application process and the fact that we're so selective matters because it ensures commitment and engagement from our participants. It demonstrates dedication to the PR profession and our community and facilitates meaningful interactions and networking opportunities.
Kind of piggybacking off of that, our next slide has reasonings on why it brings it back to U of O as a whole. We host a post-PDT panel discussion amongst our entire chapter. This is the next meeting prior to getting back, and it shares key learnings, experiences, and industry insights. It engages students by inviting different PDT participants to share their personal experience and what questions they asked and what questions they got answered. And participants are required to either write blogs or share the experience. Right now, we're currently updating our website. So we will have a whole section dedicated to student blogs where people, members specifically, can get work published that they can utilize for their career, their portfolio, and they can share their experience going on the tour. We, in the moment during the tour, we utilize Instagram as well as our LinkedIn page, hosting live updates. This is in real time glimpses of the PDT, and I encourage participants to share their experiences through whether that may be how they're starting their day at an in-house agency and ending their day at a full firm client-run agency. This amplifies the reach by using relevant hashtags, tagging the University of Oregon, the SOJC accounts. There's also PRSSA national accounts. And our chapter president also ensures to host an Instagram takeover on the U of O SOJC account that also amplifies reach because it goes out to all of the School of Journalism and Communications. We like to have, we ensure that reflection opportunities are given. We have a pre-PDT survey as well as a post-PDT survey with quantitative and qualitative data that provides how we can improve. And we're taking our data. Last winter term, we went to New York City, and we have received that data from those post surveys and have ensured to make this trip better and have a best possible outcome after analyzing those. Journaling, group discussions, we ensure that everyone has a notebook when they're touring the agencies and are taking handwritten notes specifically to grow insights. And we share reflections with the U of O community through the blog post once again. We also have a newsletter weekly, and then we have presentations and even give people the opportunity to present during our meetings. And that's also shared through LinkedIn. And then just a glimpse of our fundraising on the next slide. Violetta is going to just share a little brief overview of that, just because we're dedicated to fundraising and making sure that like we are trying our best to raise money on our own while also coming to surplus.
Yeah. So just like some past fundraisers that we've done Meet the Professionals, where alumni from big corporations came down to Allen Hall and were featured on our panel. We also did the Dave's Hot Chicken price share. And we also did professional headshots, and we also partnered with Greenhill to meet some other puppies for a small fee. Next slide.
And then wrapping it all up to the cost down and what we will be requesting today. We are requesting a formal total of $11,048. I have breaking down the budget down to flights, hotel, and per diem. I this time left out an emergency cost, which I do like to incorporate on my normal budgets. Hence, prices going up with hotels and per diem and forms going through softs and being approved through softs. With that said, it is about $300 per round trip for flights, as they're calculated to go up within the next month, coming out to be $4,800. We are only getting 5 rooms for only 3 nights, and there's fees included in taxes, which comes out to be about $6,000 for the 16 people. And then per diem, I have a brief definition of per diem, which is a fixed daily allowance paid to students for lodging, meals, and transportation expenses while traveling for professional development. This simplifies the reimbursement by providing set rates instead of tracking every single receipt. And it is a federal standard. The General Service Administration sets rates for different US locations. So we calculated our per diem based on San Francisco and the state of California. And my reference for that is gsa.gov, travel plan and book per diem rates. And then, so that is how I calculate the per diem rates. It is lower on both travel days, which is only 2. And then there's 2 full days of travel, which would come out to be 92 each, totaling $5,512. And then,
sorry.
Yeah. No, you're good, Ellie.
Okay, and then the last slide we have is just a brief overview of the agenda and logistics so that to help create an understanding for you guys of what exactly we will be doing while we're here. So I have spent all of winter break along with my teammate reaching out to agencies, in-house companies to try to schedule us tours. And so as of today, we finally have them all confirmed. So on February the 23rd, which is the day we are hoping to fly in on, we have a scheduled tour at Oracle Park to meet with the Giants baseball team communications group. It's a large group full of Duck alumni, and they're very excited to host us. And so the reason we're hoping to fly rather than drive is because we do have this on the first day of our trip. We're trying to pack in as many things as possible to make do with such a short amount of time. And then the 24th and 25th are mostly just touring public relation agencies. We have a tour at Edelman, a tour at Weber Shandwick, We Communications, and Nectar PR. And all of these slightly vary in their client work, their size, what exactly they do on a day-to-day basis, which, like Grace mentioned, the whole point of these trips is to tour as many different agencies as possible and give our members as well-rounded of an experience as possible. And yeah, we're hoping to fly back on February 26th. We typically make these trips 5 to 6 days, but we've already cut quite a bit out just to save cost and time. So yeah, that's a brief overview of our agenda, but I'm happy to answer any questions about that.
And last year we did go to New York and brought a total of 17 people. And we've already gotten an outstanding amount of applications for this trip and have already made numerous cuts, which Ellie can go into specifics if need be or if there's questions. And that's all for the presentation.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much. We'll open the floor to questions. I'll start with the faculty member from SRJC. How is that something that you guys are paying for, or is the faculty member paying for themselves?
Great.
Is this in like where is this coming out of?
It was on the engage form.
Oh, the engage part. Ellie, I don't know if you got the confirmation on that.
We believe that the SOJC does have backup funds that are much more accessible to faculty than to us because our faculty advisor typically gets her rates covered by ASUO. It's all done in one go, but she has informed us that she would be able to pay her way with SOJC funds if necessary.
Okay, awesome. I was curious if that lowers the total amount at all, because I would definitely be more comfortable with the total amount around like 8,000 or so.
I did like I calculated this also back in November and rates have already gone up since then, so that's my concern as of right now.
Yeah, I definitely think rates have gone up a tremendous amount since then, so it's definitely something we'll consider when we're deciding. I will move to Senator O'Neill.
Hi, yes, thank you for coming on Zoom. I was at y'all's PFC budget hearing the other day as well. Yeah, so basically, I do think that this is a very important thing, a very important trip. However, I do think that it is too much money, and the reason that I say that isn't at all a reflection on you guys. However, it is a reflection on our budget and something that is that I believe a mistake that the Senate has been making for a while is considering specific travel requests within themselves and not within the scope of everything else that we're also getting brought. So what I mean by that is today we have two large travel requests and one small one. And that small one is $950 for, wait, I just wrote it down. For medicine and ministry, but I believe that's taking 18 people. And then the other ones are for YDSA, and they're having $12,000 for about 11 people, and this one, which is $11,000 to $12,000 for, I believe, 16 people. Now, considering those numbers, there are certain options that may seem the best fiscally. However, I think we also need to consider what kind of impacts this is bringing back for the students, because at the end of the day, the difference between 12 people going and 8 people going, or whatever number, is still an extremely, extremely small portion of the student body. And so for that reason, I do not think that the Senate should approve two of these large travel requests in this meeting, because I genuinely think that we need to really be watching out for this kind of stuff. I'm not thoroughly tracking the amount that has been eliminated from surplus, but I did read that Daily Emerald article the other day where Quadrian said that the surplus would likely be depleted by spring. And I think that is very bad because orgs still exist in this spring. So for that reason, I personally will be voting for YDSA's travel request. That is because YDSA, as well as the whole leftist community on this campus, I believe makes a very large difference here. I will note that I am not in YDSA and I will never be, and I'm also not a socialist. So this is not my personal whatever thing. I can see the difference that they make on this campus every day, because they have had so many collaborations with various different groups, and I believe that is very important. Ultimately, it is important that we consider this within the scope of everything else. I would love to approve this request should it come back with a lower amount of money. I yield.
I was next to the speaking list, but I do just want to address, I think we should take each request individually and not compare requests against other boards. I think it's important to consider it that way, just to avoid against certain groups. But I do think things that Senator O'Neill said are valuable about our budget. Now, back to this request, I do have a couple of questions for you guys. I do appreciate the presentation and the detail that you guys gave. First of all, with the fundraising, I don't know if all of that fundraising has been done thus far, but how much do you expect to receive from your fundraising, or how much have you received?
I don't have an exact total because each and every fundraiser is unique to its own. Some are price shares, others go back to like for the Meet the Professionals event, like part of that money was actually like in the end then like because it was taken out of like our own expenses, like very little parts of it, then some of that fundraising money actually went back to the event itself to cover for that, such as like photographers to get outreach and whatnot on social media platforms, to give our club like more outreach across University of Oregon as a whole. Ellie, you could probably touch on this probably a little bit more.
Yeah, like the publicity aspect of like chores like these.
No,
Or like
the fundraising, like how
Oh
like
yeah.
much fundraising has brought in.
Yeah, I'm not personally involved in the planning of these fundraisers, but like Grace mentioned, it
Because a
can be
lot
a
of it was last year's finance director. So
Yeah,
we're a
that's
whole new exec board transitioning over.
yeah, I know that like when we did our Dave's Hot Chicken fundraiser, I think we made like a few $100s. We have a fundraiser tonight at Handel's Ice Cream, so if anyone wants to go to that after this meeting, I recommend doing that. But I feel like we'll see what comes from that tonight, but it really does depend on the circumstances of each fundraiser. And I'm not sure exactly how the breakdown of that happens once we do receive that money.
Okay, but
Most
just
of that goes through.
go ahead, sorry.
Oh, sorry. I was saying most of that goes through our events director who couldn't be here tonight, but we're happy to bring these questions to her and clarify for you guys.
No worries. I just want to clarify that the fundraising hasn't taken place yet, though.
No, these are just some past examples, but we have already multiple lined up for this term. We did a bunch last term.
We like to utilize a lot of like our money in the line. I calculated everything and like did a budget based on using all the line item money that is dedicated, like our specific administrative line items. So that way we're utilizing all of our budget that we received this year. And a lot of the fundraising goes towards our event in the spring so that we do not have to go to surplus spring term at all. And we successfully did that last year with the same amount of planning. We attended surplus winter term for a New York City PDT, and then spring term, we fundraised enough to host an event on campus with alumni.
Okay, amazing. My next question is, how did you decide on 16 people to go on this trip?
Yeah, I can take this one if you want, Grace.
Can I start though?
Yeah, go for
So
it.
last year we based it on our East Coast trip, which we brought 17 people, and the 17 included the faculty advisors. So I budgeted one person less, which didn't, I know the engage sheet has included the faculty advisor. That was before we got the confirmation. We got the confirmation about her being able to like get funded through the SOJC over winter term or like winter break, I guess. Sorry, my bad. Um, and so that's a little bit how it came to be with the total being 16 people. Ellie, you have a better answer than me on that one.
Yeah, so when we took people to Portland earlier in fall term, we brought I believe it was originally going to be 23 before a couple people had to drop out. So we typically bring more than 16 on our trips. When we brought 17 to New York last year, I remember some discussions in the exec board where how we wanted to grow these trips in the future. But since we do know that the budget situation is so tight this year, we decided not to grow it, but to just keep it around the exact same, even one or two people less, which is where we landed at 16. And I do want to reiterate that we had almost 40 applicants, so we cut immediately less than or at least half the people going or who applied who wanted to go. Um, and the people who were selected entirely based on merit, participation, personability, whether we think they're going to represent us well. So we landed on 16 because it is close to the standard that we have set for ourselves in the past, but still cutting down as much as we possibly can.
My next question is, what does your travel day on the 26th look like? There wasn't anything on the slides for that.
Yeah, that is probably going to depend on the travel arrangements that we make with ASUO once we've secured funds and are able to start our second travel form. We typically just leave an entire day for travel since we're, well,
The
in the past,
hotel
we had
checkout times.
yeah, hotel checkout times. In the past, we've had a day where we arrive, it's just a travel day getting there. And then we have 3 days of touring, and then we have a travel day on the end. So our trips typically total 5 days, but we know that that's quite a big ask, which is why we have activities happening on the first day and why we would ideally want to fly there to get there as soon as possible and fit as much as we can in there. And if we did end up in a situation where we were able to get some later flights on the 26th, that's a Thursday, it's still a working day. So we would be definitely more than happy to fit some more stuff in there, but we realize that the flights aren't really in our control. That kind of goes through ASUO, so that's why we have that flight day planned out.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely not required, but if you have other things you want to fit in, it is a good opportunity for programming. And then just my last little bit, I'm sorry, I know I have a lot of questions. Are you familiar with our financial priorities for this year?
Yes, I have gone over the guidelines. It's just things, the rates keep going up and it was really hard to, but I don't want to ensure people spots on a trip and then have budget be cut abruptly. So I did stick to the East Coast guideline there with the 11,000, not going above $12,000.
Yeah,
And instead compromising that with going on a trip to the West Coast and being able to bring more people along the trip rather than going on the East Coast and only being able to bring like 10 or 8 people, which wouldn't be as beneficial because people have their own individual experiences and they're able to share their own opinions and their experiences to other people, which everyone's going to relate to differently.
I definitely appreciate that consideration. It's always nice to bring more people. I think because it is going to San Francisco, it would fall under the West Coast guidelines, which is right now is no more than 8,000 for the entirety of the trip. Personally, I would like to stay within that number. If that is something that you guys would like to consider, I think we can look into maybe taking out the cost for the faculty and maybe looking into reducing the number of people. I don't know if you guys have a backup number prepared. I also am aware that this would be your kind of last chance to get surplus funding within the travel deadlines. So if you do have another option, I think that maybe some other senators would also be interested in looking at that as well.
So I was curious what your guys' opinion was on per diem. I was told that per diem should not be cut because it creates uncertainty, unfair advantages for certain people, and it can make things really tricky moving forward with like financial situations for individual people. And so I'm curious if per diem, like what your guys' opinion is on per diem versus cutting entire people in general.
It's more going to be your preference and the preference of your club. I think, you know, when you go on these trips, you obviously want to make it as accessible as you can. But if your priority is to bring more people and cut per diem, then yeah, that's totally up to you guys. Yeah, the other option there would to be reduce something somewhere else, which maybe is the number of people that you're bringing, which would bring down travel and budget. And that's per diem as well. But yeah, entirely up to you guys. I just wanted to present those suggestions. I don't know if you want to talk more about that. We can also move to speakers.
I calculated everything. I did come up with a backup. And my my minimum that I was able to calculate with cutting people, cutting it down to 12 people total and cutting the faculty advisor entirely, it would bring it down to a request of $9,060.
Can you repeat what you cut out? You cut out the faculty.
Oh, sorry, my power's like going in and out today. I cut 4 people entirely and including faculty, so that's 5 people from our numbers. And I brought it down to $9,060.
Also, if
No, Elliot, don't.
No? Okay.
You can go ahead.
Oh, I think, sorry, we're just doing like a last minute calculation. While Grace works on calculations, are there any other questions I could answer from other members?
Senator Smith.
Hi guys. Just to make sure before I go forward with this, you guys did go to an icon conference in the fall term, right?
Yes.
Yes, we did.
And then in your ledger, and that was about 4,000 from surplus, right?
Yeah, and in that meeting, I think we were able to cut down like at least 5,000 off of our initial request.
Yeah, it was like 8K-ish to 4K-ish. And then in your ledger, it says that you have almost 2,000 in that. And were you planning, did you already work that money?
I already calculated that through, yeah. That's why the cost, if you go to the cost breakdown, it actually doesn't add up to the 11,000. Yeah. So I just forgot to include the little square got deleted, but I did already calculate. I got an updated ledger immediately after that money went to the travel agency and whatnot, and I already calculated like utilizing all of our money. This is our biggest PDT, and given surplus's situation and where it looks in the spring, we don't want to go to surplus at all in the spring, and we're not planning a trip in the spring. We're planning our Meet the Professionals event that will be on campus in the spring and utilizing the programming money towards that.
Sounds good. Thank you. Thank you for considering. I think one of my concerns though is this also happened, like we had a similar conversation with another club, is like 2 conferences in 1 year. For me, when I think about that, like if we have this limit in our financial priorities and it's like, 8,000 per trip, and we don't limit, like you can go on 3 trips and you can spend 8,000, that's 24K. I think like for me personally, if you're going on 2 trips, I want the total of those. Like I prefer the total of those to be somewhat near what our financial priorities are for 1 trip. And so that's kind of what I'm hesitant about. And I think that was
Is there any way we could discuss between like 8,000 and 9,000? Due to like flight increases, like flight prices increasing.
I think I don't speak for everyone in Senate. My personal ideal situation would maybe be like it totaling between that 4,000 and this totaling to about 8 or 10,000, honestly. And I think, have you guys looked into the SOJC micro grants?
Yes.
Travel, is that something, because I'm thinking per diem rates, you could do that.
So the issue with that is because our surplus request got cut by so much summer term with the Icon conference, we did not receive, we fully cut per diem from that trip unexpectedly. And it had to go towards hotel costs because hotel costs went up, and we ended up actually having to stay 30 minutes from the conference itself, and then had to pay out of our own pockets for transportation for that mishap, which was a 30-minute commute, which wasn't ideal. And then we did apply for a grant through the SOGC to get that per diem money back. However, we still have not have received that money. And it's currently being processed, but there's a limit to amount of how many clubs can actually receive that money, hence why we're asking for this request now, and the amount that it is, so that we don't have to because our grant money still hasn't been processed, and most likely they don't like give grants to like multiple events for one club. It's like usually one time throughout the year.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
And I can also speak to the fact that we have already traveled once this year. I understand exactly where you're coming from when it comes to those travel guidelines. However, I do think that that it's not like publicly made clear to organizations that those travel guidelines are for the entire year, like all the trips combined. I don't think that's necessarily like, at least I'm not as well versed in the bylines, so you could correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think that that is clearly stated enough for when it comes to planning for things like this. But also, the ICON conference is a national conference that our chapter attends, and we only bring 5 to 6 people to that. And these trips are basically the equivalent of the journalism or advertising programs that the majors in the SOJC host, because you have to be a journalism major or you have to be an advertising major to go on those trips to, they typically go to New York to network and travel. But the public relations program does not have one for PR majors. So the only way that a PR major can go on a trip like this is through our club. It's the only SOJC group that provides opportunities like this for students. And so I definitely understand the concerns with traveling multiple times in a year, but these are very different trips where we're going to be doing very different things and bringing entirely different people. So I just wanted to make that clear that we're not just trying to do the same thing a bunch of times in a year. We're trying to do as many different things as possible for as many different people as possible to expand our reach and our network.
Hence, we did travel to Portland 2 months ago, late November, and we did a tour in Portland, and our executive members drove a total, Ellie, how many people did we take?
I believe it was 21.
Yeah, we took a total, yeah, we took a total of 21 people, and our executive members used their own gas money to provide for that tour. And so even though it was just a day trip, it was really beneficial being able to bring like 21 people on that. And we want to get people obviously like more experiences that are also like well-rounded and different. So yeah.
I just wanted to jump in and say like it's we created these guidelines to try to create like a level of equity with like dispersing the surplus money because it is very hard to say no and like we want everyone to be able to go on trips and things like that. But these are situations that every student org has had to endure this year, and it's very hard. But that's why the priorities exist. It's just because it gives a clear baseline for each org to request this money on top of their budget season. So like like to stay within the 8K range, which with the 4K being off would put you around 4K for the request, which I know is very hard to hear. But is there any way you feel like you can make that trick work with that amount of people, with like less people or anything of that sort?
I already calculated the trip to be less people, like the less people minimum. And we did get that approved by our faculty advisor, and that would come out to be $9,060. And that does not include the faculty advisor at all. That's old news.
And what do you mean by the minimum amount of people?
Regarding the previous like budget, oh my gosh, the budget breakdown of how because I calculated, yes, there's totals, but then there's like an individual, like how much per hotel room it would cost, how much per round trip flight for people. And so then I brought that down to the minimum number that our faculty advisor approved of bringing, because we don't want to bring it so low to an amount where then we have to cut people after already approving their intent to travel forms.
Just to clarify, my position personally is I am probably going to max out around 4K or so, but that's just me personally. I'll continue the conversation with separate Westbury.
Sorry, what was that max? Wait, a maximum amount of
a 4,000 for the request, just because it keeps you within the financial priorities. And like there are other similar boards that have had to go on 2 trips and 4Ks than those that we've been able to get for the 2 trips split between the 2. But I'm going to yield now to Senator Weston.
Okay, I want to say that I can see how well planned out this is. We really appreciate your time and your effort bringing all of this to us, and you've done great work getting all these numbers and the facts here that are constraining us. I wanted to clarify a couple of things. One is within, actually, I think both are within the Senate. This is the last possible week. Like we can't get.
Exactly.
Okay, so we have to make those decisions tonight. Okay, and then I guess this is more just like a temperature reading for the room. If we were to go for like that 9,000 number they just mentioned, thumbs up if you would approve it or thumbs down. All right, we're getting thumbs down here in the room. All right, well, we're gonna play 8K. Are we feeling okay with an 8K? No? 6? Getting some flips on 6. Okay, I'm just trying to figure out a resolution here that we could propose a number. We could, would it be possible?
Yes.
How do you?
Just say, maybe we should ask them what the lowest will go to. It sounded like they had a minimum, but they didn't want to go below. So if that means like, or is it okay? Grace, does that minimum of 12 people mean like 12 people per don't want to go on the trip, or like 12 people where you'd like to be, but you could go?
Like 12 people are going on the trip.
But if it's in the scenario where
and this includes like cutting executive members too.
My question is like if the Senate is not comfortable with funding that amount of would you not, like, would you only want 12 people to go on the trip, or would you be willing to go below 12?
I would be going below what number? Sorry.
I think
below 12 people.
Wow. Because it's currently, it sounds like senators aren't comfortable with that number. It still seems a little high.
I would be fine going down to 10 people.
Do you know what that went to request wise?
It would come out at $7,600.
All right, how are we feeling about that as a Senate? We're getting a little more mixed. $4,000 for what's up? That's for 7,000. For what we were laying out. Oh, sorry. I know the senators.
Want to say Chicago. I still remember back.
Where was the icon trip? That's what we're wondering right now.
Washington, D.C.
On PSD, is it?
Okay.
But Mary's got the floor right now.
Okay.
Ellie, if you want to bring up per diem, you can.
Yeah, so going back just briefly to the original number of 16, if we were to go with the route of cutting the per diem rather than people, that would immediately take $5,000 off the initial 11K request, bringing us down to $6,000 for 16 people. And so that's a huge chunk, and I'd be willing to then, if we took off per diem, bring it down to like say 14, 12 people. I think we could get it maybe closer to what you guys are hoping.
I think.
But if we were able to get 6,000 for the original 16 people, fully cutting per diem, compromising like that level of equity that we were talking about, and, you know, hoping that our members are able to fund their, you know, day-to-day meals and stuff for this trip. I think being able to take 16 would still be beneficial if we were still able to cut off that $5,000 and take 16.
Yeah, I think that's a great way to look at it. That's definitely a decision you all can make. And it seems like you have more fundraising going on. So if you do choose to cut per diem and then fill that in with fundraising to cover some portion of the daily food costs, I also think that's a possibility. And that's not constrained by us tonight. Like you
Yeah, so I guess I'm more just curious if we were to cut that $5,000 for per diem, would you guys be more willing to look at something a little bit below 6K?
Yes, yes. Yeah, we are liking that idea. So if you want to give us a number, you want to run that calculation right
I
now.
just want to clarify, our fundraising goes towards our events that we host on campus in the spring, hence why the programming line item budget is only $500. It's very low compared to our administrative budget because we recognize like surplus obviously gets less throughout the year. So then the fundraising covers spring term and not utilizing surplus.
Okay. Yeah, so I guess the idea would be then if you could either increase fundraising or shift it to cover that per diem. If that's a concern that people would choose not to go because they themselves cannot personally cover the food rate. So that would just be a discussion within your group after tonight. But if you want to give us a number around that 6,000 that you were just saying by cutting the diem, then I'm happy to make the motion.
Yeah, I just did a simple just subtraction from the cost breakdown slide. So I subtracted the $5,512 for per diem, and that brings our total down to $5,536.
Perfect. Just 1 second. All right, I would authorize spending from surplus to group public relations students.
Ellie, you said 6,006, right?
5,536. Just subtracting like the numbers on the slide.
Okay. How many people?
That's the full 16.
Okay.
We can also do like a 5-minute recess to calculate this and feel confident with the number. But yeah, as a Senate, we're feeling a lot better with that 5,000 audience.
I also know we've been really not liking funding the faculty advisors too, and this is a conference too. And so like usually the faculty members are much more recommended for a site visit where it's much more loose, but conferences tend to have pretty rigorous agenda that goes with them. So if we could also eliminate the faculty advisor.
I already did that, eliminated the faculty advisor.
Okay, and that keeps you at 16.
Yes.
Okay, so would you like me to make the motion right now with the 5,536, or would you like a 5-minute break to make sure that you both feel comfortable with that number?
I personally feel comfortable, but
I'm
Grace.
comfortable. Yes.
Okay, sweet. Well, let's do it. I'm Dr. Spending from surplus to group public relations, Student Society of America, OS number OS 07I, and the amount of $5,536 to line item professional development. Second, Lauren, yes.
Motion made by Questenberry, seconded by Madariaga. And we're sorry.
Okay, well,
Oh,
wait,
sorry.
before I yield, I'm gonna yield to Senator Peter.
Hi, Grace.
Hi.
I just, it's been great to hear from you again. I just wanted to, before we get moving on this motion, you said that you made these estimates in November. Since we're already
Yes.
updating the number, do you think you could update the flight estimate to reflect the cost right now?
Yes. Ellie, you already did that in your calculation, right? Because I calculated higher with the current cost breakdown.
Yeah, I'm just using your cost breakdown and like the per diem subtraction.
Okay. Then yes, it's already calculated with the $5,036.
Yeah, I think we did update these after we submitted the initial request form.
The 300 a person flights.
Yes.
So what's
I
this now?
Yes, I texted Ellie about the 5,036 amount and brought down the flight number. Because obviously that was budgeted on the higher end in November, and like flights do go down after the holidays. So.
Could you just tell us what the estimate per person on the flights are now?
So went down to about $200.
And those are fully refundable.
Yes.
Okay, awesome, thank you.
We use like Expedia and other travel websites like that to make our estimates so that we can stay like up to date and see the future trend predictions and stuff.
Okay. With that, yes.
Senator Broussard.
A lot of my previous questions have already been answered. Thank you, all other Senator. I do want to say, so we're at that around that 5,000 number. I know, Sir Gill and some of the people, Speaker Gill, my apologies. Some of the people had some thumbs up, thumbs down towards some more thumbs up towards a lower number than that. Just a reminder, how many people were going with that 5,000 number?
That is for the full 16 people that we have decided on.
Yeah, sorry, I just wanted to double check. I think it's a really cool event. I would love to make it happen. I think since you guys already had another event, I'm comfortable funding more than $4,000, and I know we have to do this tonight. I think if we brought the number of people from 16 down to 12 or 10, I'd be a lot more comfortable making this happen.
Let me just do a calculation really quick. Yeah, even without per diem for 12 people, because that's the one that we planned for initially as like our lower number, it would still be 5,196. So only a few $100s less because essentially cutting 4 people cuts 1 hotel room is my understanding.
Yes, that's correct.
The plane ticket as well.
Grace, do you know how that calculates in?
Yes.
Tickets and plane ticket costs as well. So the extra hotel room plus the $200 tickets.
Cutting 4 people would just cut an entire hotel room.
But do you know like what cutting those 4 flights would do?
The flights are $200.
Yeah.
Okay, so 600 or 800 plus the hotel room.
It would
Yeah,
come
so-
down to 4,560.
I'm personally.
Yeah, that seems great. Thank you very much.
Yes.
I yield.
Senator Hopperhead. And then just so we know, if any senator did want to change the motion, you make another motion to amend the current motion that we did vote on, and then we'd have a new motion after that is passed.
Thank you all so much for being here. A lot of other people have already asked my questions, so I'm gonna yield my time, but I just appreciate y'all for working down your number on the floor. Thank you. I yield.
Thank you.
Senator Peters.
Hi, I just have one extra question. So this 5,000 number, there's no buffer in this number. So what happens if things end up costing more than they are costing tonight?
Then it's going to be a difficult conversation with our team to decide which of our members doesn't get to go.
And probably only Ellie, our vice president, will be the one attending on exec, which can honestly make not so much a liability issue, but it is difficult only having one person who planned the trip and like knows what they're doing in charge of that many people collectively, especially if worst case scenario, the faculty advisor doesn't attend the trip. That can become a safety issue, which is my only concern of like navigating in transportation.
Okay, awesome. Thank you for answering it. And then I just have a suggestion. You can totally say no. Are you guys completely attached to these specific dates for this trip? Because would it be possible for you guys to plan another trip in a couple months that you might be able to get 10 more on board with?
As of today, I've already confirmed with all of these agencies and like the Giants baseball team for the dates that we would like to meet with them and the times. So while it would technically be possible, we're pretty tied down to these dates now that we've spent about a month working with these agencies to plan this.
Okay.
We also have conducted interviews for over 40 applicants.
Yeah, we spent all of winter break going through the application and a interview process to make sure that the people we're taking are the people that we really want representing our school.
Okay. Awesome. Thank you for answering my question.
And that also, those interviews were conducted with both our national faculty advisor and our faculty advisor from the school. So they took time out of their break as well to participate in those interviews so that they were conducted professionally.
Okay, thank you for clarifying that. Just to let everyone know, I think I'm a no on this. I'd like to see a buffer in it. Just because of past experiences approving trips with no buffer, often seeing groups coming back, and then also because it's their set.
Senator Bailey.
Okay, I'm your senator. And it's taking this long for me to get on stack, so sorry about that. I'm really proud of you guys for this trip. I'm really concerned too, about the buffer and the fact that we've been throwing around numbers for like an hour or two. And I also wonder, this is kind of unrelated to the current request at hand, but you mentioned that the journalism and advertising have trips that are funded by the university that happen like every term, or is it like every year? I know that I see them going to
One trip every year. It's either to Chicago, New York, or Los Angeles, and they for sure happen. Like advertising is going to New York this year, and
journalism just went to New York.
Yes, and they only accept people from those majors. And for the public relations program as a whole, there is no trip that is offered to those majors unless you go through our club and our student organization.
That is the basis of what I'm talking about. Actually, I wonder if you'd be interested past this Senate meeting, I don't know if your faculty advisor is interested either, like what it would look like to make this like a university funded thing, like an SOJC funded trip, so that your club doesn't have to fund the costs of this every year. And you guys could maybe focus on programming here closer to home. I mean, that's not it's an easier said than done thing, but I am your senator representing the school, all four majors, and it's kind of weird that PR doesn't have a trip like journalism and advertising does. And I don't know if you guys were interested in seeing what it might look like to get this like the same sort of thing.
I mean, we have tried, and honestly, it goes beyond our reach. We are just students here at the university. I mean, we do have a voice and whatnot, but it really comes down to faculty, and with faculty cuts included, it's really difficult to get through to them and get that. Like, obviously, like we hear you, and like I would love to make that happen, honestly, to go and take like 20 people or so and whatnot, but it's just that's not in our hands. And right now we're here because of that. So I would like to focus on our request as of right now.
Yeah, I would like to be able to make it in your hands as my role as the senator of the SOJC. It's kind of like what I'm supposed to do, if nothing else. But if you guys are interested, I yield.
Senator Heffernan.
Hi guys, thanks for being here again. Yeah, really quickly before I say my opinion, I do really want to shout out Grace. Grace had 2 back-to-back budget hearings this week and is the treasurer for 2 organizations and is here with us tonight. So I really do respect like your dedication and all of the planning that went into this. Thank you so much again for like workshopping the numbers with us. I know you've had to do a lot of it the last few days. I just wanted to say really quickly about the flights again.
we were just looking at like flights from like round trip flights from here to San Francisco, and it comes out to Oakland, sorry, and it comes out to be around $416 right now today. And doing the math on that, if you divide 4,800 by the 12 people that they would want to be taking, that's $400 per person, which already like isn't enough. So yeah, I am really worried about not having the buffer.
We were looking at, sorry to interject, we were looking at flights today and we were able to find some as low as, I believe, like the close to the 200 mark, but that was earlier today and I know how quickly those things shift around. So yeah.
Flights are fungible.
Grace, you're muted.
I do appreciate the concern of a buffer, and I do think that is something we should consider moving on with this request because this school is now going through a travel agency, which is like not how they did it in previous years. And we did already face challenges navigating that. Well, Sauce had challenges navigating the travel agency already this year that we faced with our trip in October. And obviously that has nothing like Sauce and Senate is separate. I like obviously that, but that did occur and I don't know if Senate's aware of that.
I want to call the question. Thank you guys.
Question been called, motion to end discussion. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say nay. And discussion is now ended. We'll now move to vote. We will vote by roll call. The final number is $5,500. 5,000. Okay, 5,500. Bringing in 16 people in over the end.
And no fact.
O'Neill, Fisher. O'Neill. Taylor. Smith.
Aye.
Sorry. Nay. Lumberman.
Aye.
Heffernan. Lydia. Jacobs Hiscox. Chisholm. Stevenson. Nay. Daly.
Nay.
Morel. Aye. Dariaga. Fisher.
Nay.
Westenberry.
Aye.
Ludeman. And I say nay. I will now count the votes. And the vote is 11-8 nay, and the motion is rejected. I do really appreciate you guys a lot for coming tonight. Thank you so much for all the work and planning you put in. If you guys do have another trip next term that you want to plan, please come speak with us and maybe we can plan something that can make it something easier.
Is there any way we could bring it down to the 4,000 mark and cut people entirely and do a total of 8 to 10 people? And then if it does come down, like that would be with a buffer included. And then if it does come down to that remark, we would obviously bring more people and utilize all the funding.
That will need to be left to a Senate vote. I will make the motion to reconsider the request.
Seconded.
Motion made by Gill, seconded by Questenberry. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay.
Nay.
The motion passes. We will now, someone might make a motion for the 4,000 request. Senator Fisher.
I move to authorize spending from surplus to group PRSSA, Public Relations Student Society of America, OS number OS 079I, an amount of $4,000, the line item professional.
Seconded. Questenberry.
Motion made by Fisher, seconded by Questenberry. Any discussion? All right, again. Red. Aye. Cheers. Fisher. O'Neill.
Aye.
Taylor. Smith.
Aye.
Broussard. Aye. Akadeb. Heffernan.
Aye.
Amadou. Jane Piscott.
Aye.
Chisholm. Stevenson. Nay. Bailey.
Nay.
Morel. Noriaga.
Aye.
Fisher.
Nay.
Westbury.
Aye.
Ludeman. Massey. The motion passes 11-9. And congratulations, guys.
Thank you so much for your guys' time. I know I've been around a lot this week, so I really appreciate it.
Okay, thank you for coming tonight.
Oh, also, so just a quick note, we talked with softs today just because of the quick deadline. Make sure to
Okay.
take your step 2 in your liability form as soon as you can. Yeah. and
Yeah,
go
we
s-
were gonna do that later tonight and submit it tomorrow morning.
Okay, thank you.
It's already being worked on.
Awesome. And moving forward on the agenda, we have YDSF. Thank you all for hanging out all night.
Hey. How are you guys? I'm Jace. I am the co-chair of the Young Democratic Socialist American chapter here at UO.
I'm Victoria, I'm the treasurer of YDSA.
I'm Graham. I'm a general member of YDSA and I've been selected to go to winter conference. I'm Brandon. I am a general member of YDSA. Oh my gosh, hi. We're here to ask for money. Stalker. So we are here to request funds from surplus to attend our annual winter organizing conference, also known as WinterCon. So we have a couple slides. You can go to the next one. Oh my God, what is Winter Conference? Great question. Slide. So Winter Conference is an annual conference that is put on by YDSA National that basically is for chapters from across the country to send members to go interact with members from chapters across the country, learn a bunch of new organizing skills, participate in workshops, participate in debates around like national politics, that kind of stuff. So we have some actually pictures from previous years. This was last year's conference. It's in Chicago. It's in Chicago. But yeah, last year that was the conference. We sent about 20 people. This year we are hoping to send 11 people. We cut down the number both because of funding reasons and also because we one of the larger YDSA chapters in the country, and so we are giving more space to smaller chapters to send more people, so we don't have those spots at conference. But the winter conference, you can go to the next slide. There's more pictures from previous years. But the winter conference does give us a lot of awesome things that we then bring back to the UO campus. So it helps us to encourage more organizers and leaders to kind of develop within our space, develop their leadership skills, their personal skills, and then more often than not, people who go to a conference become leaders on our campus, including some ASUO senators, some other ASUO members, including LAs, YDSA leaders, including myself. Last year I attended conference and then I was elected to be co-chair. Union leaders, both presidents of ASUO workers, UAW Local 8121 have attended winter conference and are YDSA members. That's May Bracelet and Jacob Butone. Leaders of other political organizations, you can see in that picture the former Palestine attended, YDSA winter conference, and even elected officials. You guys may have heard of Zoran Montani, former YDSA organizing conference attendee as well. So, maybe the next so run will come out of UO. Pretty cool. It also gives students skills that we use to then improve our campus. So like I mentioned, UO Student Workers was a project that was created by UOYSA, and it's grown to be the largest union for undergraduate students. It's a wall-to-wall union at a public university. So that's pretty special. It gave us the skills that were required to pull off our precedent-setting strike last spring. Which was type 2 fun, I would say. Also, a lot of good part of YDSA, the encampment, which you can the picture on the slide there is from the last night of the encampment. YDSA leaders spent a significant amount of time and energy the encampment, making it function, planning it, getting it to work, and then eventually had a really big role to play in coming to the agreement that the encampment made with the university, which has afforded our campus a lot of really great stuff like visiting scholars, refugee students here on scholarship, a lot of great speaking opportunities in cultural centers, the Swana Center out in the came out of the encampment. And also it will help us to continue working on our current campaign, which is bring medication abortion access to campus. That's something that we really want, something that the student body has really expressed an interest in. So hopefully the conference can give us the skills that are necessary to get that one done. It also promotes math student political and civic engagement. We are the largest political organization at the University of Oregon. We get thousands of signatures on the petitions that we run. So we're not only engaging members of our own organization, but we're trying to broadly engage the student body involved in politics and activism on our campus. And lastly, I promise I'm almost done. It gives us basic life skills such as public speaking, debate, interpersonal connections, organizational strategy, and confidence. Speaking in front of you guys, it requires some confidence, some public speaking skills. So, I'm in the conference. And then I think next we have our itinerary, which I'll give to Grant. Yeah, so conference is super jam-packed with a lot of stuff. We're planning to arrive Thursday, February 19th, and so we're going to flying, learning, and getting to the hotel, registering for conference, and then in the evening there's going to be some regional breakouts. This is again, the idea is that we're fostering this interconnection between all our different chapters, so it's a chance for someone like me who doesn't know a lot of people from other chapters to meet and get to know people and organizations and work that way. So yeah, Friday there is going to be opening announcements and then a lot of workshops, and those are different options throughout the day, broken up into segments for people to go and attend whatever workshops they think are going to be impactful and the best learning experiences for them throughout conference. And then there'll be social time in the evening again for different chapters to get to know each other, network across the. And Saturday, the opening block, there's going to be a speaker, workshop block, break for lunch, and then a day block. So everyone participating, and then another second workshop block, evening block with another plenary, and then chapter breakouts, and then that will Saturday's events, so lots of workshops and into the nitty-gritty of learning and on the ground. Sunday. So the opening block, the plenary and some workshops, break for lunch. Midday will be the last workshops, last plenary, and closing speaking. And then the conference ends at 5, so we'll aim to be out and on our way to the airport by then, and making sure to get back. That would be really great. Here are just some sample workshops, some workshops that are coming up this year, some workshops that we've had in the past. So general leadership development, building student unions, rebuilding the militant labor movement, organizing for Palestine. Our Labor Committee Chair, Sophia, is helping to present the Union Card Check Campaigns workshop, which is really exciting. There's a workshop on the United Auto Workers and Youth Labor Commission, which is a YDSA thing, kind of how those two have been interacting, especially now that a lot of YDSA chapters have been unionizing with UAW. Building an intersectional YDSA. There will also be breakouts, identity-based breakouts at the conference for socialists of color, queer socialists, feminist socialists, etc. We have red state labor organizing because we have a lot of folks coming in from red states, and that's really important for organizing. And then class struggle, student government, electoralism. Gosh. Maybe next year we can have some more YDSA numbers here.
Okay, sorry, I have a bit of a cold spell. So this is our budget breakdown. We're asking for like even $12,000, which is, I understand it as like fits within the guideline for regional travel. We're going to the West. Travel is $10,450, $950 per person. It's a lot. This includes plane fare and public transit for in Chicago. Also housing, so $1,400 total, 3 rooms of 3, 1 room of 2, so each bed. $150 per room. We got a discount for conference. So or a little but wanted a little bit room. Obviously. Um, so also we're trying to get other fundraising pursuits. So we're having a GoFundMe. We're trying to get people like alumni of UO YDSA to donate if they have any funds. We're having a bake sale / like clothing sale. There's a lot of people in the chapter who want to get rid of some clothes. And we're selling those to make money for the conference. We're also requesting funds from our parent chapter, Eugene Springfield TSA. And also scholarships are available to conference attendees. So people are still waiting to hear back about some of those because some of the larger scholarships take time to process. But yeah, so we're trying to get funding through other means for, per diems. We expect people to pay, for money. Sorry. We expect people to pay with their own money while in Chicago for like dinners and stuff. Breakfast and lunch are provided at the conference. So yeah, we're just trying to like make it as accessible as possible. We don't want people to pay out of pocket if they don't have to. So we want a little bit of wiggle room in our budget for, if we have money left over for per diems, but we'll see how deliberation goes. It seems. Okay, so next slide. Yeah, so there, Q&A.
Thank you all so much. Seems like a very exciting trip. I did want to take a second as the person that met with you guys to advocate real quick, just because you guys did have a much larger request that we're able to work down. We took out food, and there was like sacrifices that were made, and it does fall within our financial guidelines now. I won't be voting on this, I'll be abstaining, but I wanted to advocate, and YDSA does a lot of hard work here on campus, and a lot of the things we've seen get done at the union are groups at YDSA. Moving forward, we'll go Senator Chris.
Hey guys, thank you for being here. Great presentation. I had a couple questions, kind of just generally about the board. How often do you guys meet?
We meet every Thursday.
Gotcha. And then what's your attendance looking like?
We average about 70 to 80 people per week at our meetings.
Gotcha. And then how many people are you planning on bringing on this trip?
Bringing 11.
Gotcha. And I know you guys talked about when you guys go on this trip, you're looking at like gain skills. What exactly or can you go more in depth on what you're planning on bringing back to the org or like the student body? Like, is there like opening up opportunities or just like kind of more in depth?
Yeah, so we learn a lot of things, especially around like running campaigns. So like how to run a campaign, thinking about like where we can identify power on campus. What are some strategies that we want to learn how to use to reach out to as many students as possible? I know a lot of workshops factor in like, how do you do outreach to people? So kind of teaching us skills for, outreach, whether that's using tools that are provided to us through IDES National, or like different types of like social media strategy, or like, something even as simple as like, we make a visually appealing poster that makes we learn a lot of how we work. I think a lot of universities work in a very similar manner. So we talk to people from other schools who run campaigns at their schools, and they kind of tell us what their campaigns are like. And we share with them what ours are like, and that kind of helps us kind of build up an understanding of how universities work in our country, and how national politics have been affecting the way that students are able to organize politically on campuses, especially in a time with a lot of repression of free speech, both from the federal government and from universities themselves. And so we bring everything that we learn back to campus in the form of, we use these skills to develop and create our campaigns that are aimed at improving the student experience for every student on campus. So like for US student workers, for example, we learned all the skills that we needed to create a union and like have a successful union drive and a successful strike. And we use that to get pay raises for all student workers, and like better sexual harassment protections. So everything we do, it's like we're learning the skills and then we're using these skills to improve lives for every student.
Thank you. And kind of just going through ledger, do you guys plan on doing events on campus in YDSA?
Yeah. Yes, events on campus.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have events throughout term, like every so often. They're mainly like at weekly, we have like a weekly meeting time. Some of those are like we have like bigger events at them. So we'll have like speakers. We had Jay Robinson come, who is a sociologist. He wrote a book with Noam Chomsky last term. And he came and talked during our meeting time. We haven't had it, well, I guess it's week 1 of term. Sorry, I'm like but yeah, we haven't had an event yet. Start with week 1, but we have had events in the past, and we will have them this term as well. Sorry, that was very long-winded answer to your question.
No, you're good. Just being honest, I personally would like to kind of, before doing like, non-West Coast traveling, I personally like to see more on-campus events. So yeah, I get the words of the conference. I just think if there was one closer, I think it would be a lot more reasonable. But I just kind of where I'm at right now.
Amodipe.
Hi guys, thank you for staying here. I went last year, so I will be really what you're saying. About on it, but I went last year and I went to the intersectional and found a weekend intersection of IDSA, and that was really important. Just understanding that, like, even though I feel like I have an understanding of like the struggle of other people, it's still good to hear about other people's experiences, and also like going there with other people and then going to different workshops and stuff. That was really important because like Blaze went to, I forgot the government but she went to that one, and then like that kind of helped me like want to run for Senate at the school. So that I'm going to I moved to authorize spending from surplus to group Young Democratic Socialists at UO as OS number OS 297I in the amount of $12,000 to line item winter conference.
Thanks, Stevenson. Motion made by Amodipe, seconded by Stevenson, and we'll continue today. Senator, you yield. Senator, sorry.
I yield.
Sorry. Okay. Senator, sorry.
Thanks so much for being here today, and I really liked y'all's presentation. I want to quickly say that I'm not a member of YDC. I actually went to a meeting last term. That was really fun. Thanks, Bella, for inviting me. I am, however, I've been a part of Augsburg for like around 3 years now, and I don't know if y'all saw Sophia talk over here. She wasn't able to know about these campaigns when she first started. A lot of organizing is about training and passing on the information you've learned to other people. So I cannot understate the value of conferences like this. All of the campaigns and the wins we've made in Oregon on Allsburg side, and I know a ton of them from YDSA's side as well, have been made from, or specifically for my sake, a national student conference that I went to. I was able to learn things like public speaking, to running campaigns, to power mapping, which is exactly what y'all talked about. The red state organizing is so interesting. I'm super excited about hearing from that. So I just want to voice my full support for this conference. I'm super excited for y'all. And I yield.
Senator Lindeman.
Hi guys, thanks for being here and so late. This looks so exciting and a great presentation and a lot of work putting in to the budget and I appreciate that. I just had a quick question about the people that are going on the trip. How are you selecting those people?
So we had a self-nomination process that was open to any member of the organization who was interested in going. And then the executive board steering committee looked at these self-nominations and kind of evaluated people who were newer to the organization versus people who had been in the organization for a long time but had never gone to go. We tried to do kind of an equitable split between our seniors and some of our newer people. We also kind of looked at who seemed to be like very committed and very like interested in spending a long time in YDSA, people who are in it for the long haul, people who take a lot of initiative, they are willing to like hit the ground, speak to the ground, getting out there and organizing with us, people who we see as potential future leaders of our organization, just, are cool and they're awesome. And then the steering committee voted on.
Out of curiosity, how many self-nominations did you get?
I believe we had about 20.
Senator Bailey.
Okay, hi. Yes, I'm also a YDSA member, so I'm put on this. I didn't nominate myself to go to WinterCon. I'm a bit busy this term. But as for like the benefit of YDSA doesn't just have one meeting per week. We have how many committees? The Socialist Feminist Committee, the Labor Committee, we have an ICE working group. We have the outreach committee, the membership committee. They meet
Labor.
Yes, ICE. Yes, the steering committee, Socialist and Office Committee, soon to meet again the first time. So it's not just one meeting, and it's also a lot of the work that we do doesn't just happen in the meetings, it's in the campaigns that we run. Like last year, the union was at a tail end of a 3-year-long campaign that we've been dedicating membership to since the very start. That's how I got involved in USW, and now I'm the comms chair. I didn't tell you guys that I'm the communications committee chair for USW now. And I joined USW. Well, I got a job because I both needed one, but got involved in organizing because like YDSA made me realize like the value of labor and the working class in a way I had never really felt before. And like there's so much that happens in YDSA that's like something's happening, okay, we're gonna organize around it. Like the medicated abortion campaign is something that we don't just do that every week. A lot of that work happens like outside of that. Like I did work for that tonight in Senate by making that resolution. And like it is so much more than just one meeting a week. And we do have more than one meeting a week, but just to advocate for you guys. But thank you for the question, Sandra. It's a good question. And also, I guess WinterCon. WinterCon. When YDSA has these national committees that you can participate in as a YDSA member anywhere, but you work with people across the country. and I'm a member of the Activist, which is a national committee that produces a print edition every time we have a conference usually, but also like a website and an Instagram where members write articles relating to stuff happening in the world and also in their chapters. And I'm doing the layout for this edition, the WinterCon edition of the Activist. And that's work I can add to my portfolio. So I yield.
Madariaga.
Hey guys, thanks for coming tonight. I just had a question kind of similar to Senator Perez, but you talked about bringing the conference work back by like actually using the stuff you learned to like get results on campus. This might be like a obvious question, but are you also going to have in one of your general meetings like some sort of sleep teaching to everyone on like specifically what you learned in the conference, like for the people that involved too?
Yes, at the meeting following conference of the following Thursday, we'll have a discussion from the people who attended conference, the whole chapter, to discuss what we've learned, what our takeaways are, taking ourselves in national politics, and that'll be a whole discussion for the whole chapter to kind of like share the knowledge that we gained at the conference. So we'll take a long time to kind of like debrief and discuss and share.
Cool. Yeah, I think this is really cool. I am a member of YDFA, so I'm not running on this, but I think it's really cool. So thank you. I yield.
Senator
Yeah, so I guess just to I know that it seems to me as if most people aren't going to be voting in this, which I think is fun. And I know that based on the discourse, a lot of it seems to be a lot of YDSA glazing. So for those of you, or YDSA are doing YDSA glazing. And so if there's anybody that doesn't necessarily like, I don't know, catch on to what they're saying, because it can be kind of confusing as well, of these working group, or committees and all of this and that. I do want to point out that one of the main takeaways I think people should consider if they're on the fence of voting for this is that YDSA is one of the few organizations on this campus who has worked, and this is through the coalition of other groups as well, that has achieved something so that if YDSA were to disappear today, many things would still be here that would be remnants of there, as well as many other people's efforts. So we can go ahead and point out the Swana Center, which was a huge deal. Again, not just YDSA, but YDSA had tried extra hard for that. The union contract, right? YDSA, not just YDSA, but again, it's something that can be seen on this campus. If YDSA contributes greatly to the culture of this campus, and it doesn't, like the reason to respond to Prez's point as well, that it would be relevant to have a conference and not so relevant about bringing, having these on campuses, because YDSA, literally when you just walk around the EMU, walk around campus, has impacted campus every day, pretty much all the time, and for this foreseeable future. So YDSA may be many things, but they're certainly unique in their impact on campus. So I think that even if y'all don't specifically like their politics, I don't know, viewpoint neutrality is important, but then it should still be clear that this is a very impactful group. Yeah, I yield.
Senator Fisher.
Yeah, I also have to understand that's true, but I did want to say, like, in terms of like our budget, it's like we are like a tier 3 organization, and our budget is like 8,000 something. Most of that is stipends, and this is like really the one thing that we have ever really like gone to surplus for. We also attend another conference that's in the summer that we all like fully self-fund every time. So we try to really be considerate of like the finances, because so many of us are in ASUO, but also I think that I can't speak for you guys in like your selection process, but I know that there was like a lot of deliberation about who to send, and I believe that 8 of the 11 have not attended before. So yeah, that's all that I wanted to say.
Commissioner Stevenson.
I call the question.
You're the only person on the list. We got a motion on the floor. Okay, yes, I will reiterate for people who didn't just see the teams. If the conflicts of interest occurs when you pay dues to an org and you are monetarily invested in that org, or if you regularly attend their meetings. I would say like more than half the term, if you are at their meetings, then it would be in your best interest to abstain. Adriana?
Quick question. So I like joined really late last term. So I actually only went to one. Would that consider like right? So like I could vote on this then, or?
If you only went to one meeting and you aren't paying dues, then I would say.
Or like if I'm planning on.
Would you say if you're planning on being committed to the club, I would say no, but I also think it's up to you what you think, how involved you
are. Okay, thank you. I appreciate you.
We'll start with Perez. Peters.
Nay.
Fisher.
Abstain.
O'Neill.
Aye.
Taylor. Smith.
Aye.
Broussard. Aye. Hopperday.
Abstain.
Heffernan.
Aye.
Diafed. Jenkins Hiscox. Chisholm. Nagarajan. Stevenson. Abstain. Bailey.
Abstain.
Burrell. Adariaga.
Abstain.
Fisher.
Nay.
Westbury.
Aye.
And I abstain.
Seven abstained. Senators, that's.
You don't have a VP.
They don't vote, but yeah. Oh, for tiebreakers. I don't think we are.
The amount of seats in the Senate right now, because those two seats don't count.
We're at 21. Yes, and then minus Nagarajan plus, I did the math with 6 people and that was exactly 407. 7 abstain, 3 nays. It's 10. Well, but that's, I'm like just out of quorum, 7, 21 minus 7. A lot more 14 divided by.
Gray area. I think.
What do we do? Oh, wait, let's.
Julie's gonna tell you that.
Julie.
We've never been this successful.
We have a lot of people that need to abstain on the request.
One time we abstained. I swear, pending meeting thing was not a rule. Like, yeah, I should have said, I don't appreciate it.
What you think that looks like, but not. If you like regularly, I think regularly vote.
At the end of the day, if it isn't allowed, it's gonna go through the judicial branch, so we might as well make the decision, get it going, and if it is wrong, then we deal with that, because there's nothing more we can do. Right? Well, whatever Julie says the result. Because it's not allowed.
If you're saying that you're not, which means you are not a voting member, which means you're not making a part.
The language, the exact language is filled seats in the rules.
It comes to both of you.
Hey, I don't need to know. Yeah, what is absolute majority and what is filled seats?
We have to know what we've done in the past. Have we allowed it or have we not?
Well, have any vote ever gone?
It says filled seats and you're sitting in a seat and you voted present, basically. I feel like that is a filled seat.
Is that you saying
cast your vote.
abstain is casting a vote, which is you taking yourself out. But I think you are in your seat acting as.
I am ruling this as a pass motion, alright, and that's fine, congratulations.
We're great with it. Thank you guys so much.
Yes, thank you.
All right. I
No, it would be the same, ASUO Senate versus. Everyone who stays goes to the bathroom, that wouldn't be.
then I feel like it wouldn't work.
Because that's not a filled
Because you
seat,
could-
their seat would be like empty.
Yeah.
Because you voted for, you still casted a vote. I think which was not the situation.
Yeah, essentially he abstained because he's not here to vote.
And just.
No, that Sugu is not. No, not voting and voting present, I feel like are two different things.
They were left there. What if he would not be at
Okay.
the
We have someone who's speakers list, so I'm gonna restore order now. Okay, we'll give the floor to Senator Hepburn now.
I just want to clarify, filled seats means hired, like you, like Subu is not currently here, but that is a filled seat because he works here. So we only have 2 not filled seats, so our quorum is 21 people. If everyone was gone or in the bathroom or not in attendance, we would not be a quorum. The question, I think, just that we're just debating for fun because it doesn't matter, is whether or not abstaining counts as a vote. Is that what we're debating? But yeah, we wouldn't have been a quorum because filled seats just means that we have someone on the nameplate.
So was that quorum or not?
I don't know. Every time I did the math, it started to confuse me, so I stopped.
Okay, well.
I think we were either exactly at quorum or 1 short, but it doesn't matter. Thank you.
Next up on the agenda, we have medicine and ministry. We have representatives of the suite.
All right, hello everyone. It's my time to shine. I'll make this as brief as possible because it's past my bedtime and I'm sure it's past everyone else's bedtime too. So I think we have 2 requests. The first request is for $200, and this covers the MedAdvance event. So MedAdvance, I'm sure other people have come before you and spoke about MedAdvance, but in case they have not, it essentially is a collaboration with all the pre-med organizations, and it's the end of February, and we have this big like pre-med conference, and so we'll have what the $200 is going to is for goodie bags. So we're going to make 100 goodie bags with a few things, including medical related stickers, highlighters, tissues, band-aids. Anyway, there's just 100 goodie bags. So the $200 is to cover those 100 goodie bags. And then anywhere between like 200 and 400 people usually come to MedAdvance. So we get a pretty good turnout. And yes, I think that's all I have to speak to regarding MedAdvance and that first request.
Thank you, Tanner. We will start with Senator Fisher.
Hi, Tanner. Thanks to see you. It's also past my time. Thanks to see you, Tanner.
Yes.
I'm just curious, and I'm sorry if you have to reiterate this. I'm just curious what is different about this request from the request that we filled right before we went on break.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good question. So the request you filled before was a suture clinic. So suture clinics are unique to our organization. Actually, other organizations host similar events, but our suture clinic is, again, sort of unique to our organization in that we host a few orthopedic surgeons and then come in and they bring in their PAs. And so, again, we get anywhere from like 60 to 80 people who attend these suture clinics. And that request you filled before was because we found out we reserved Redwood, which is like $250 for our event, which we didn't expect that, and so that's why you gave us, I think it was $300 or something. So suture clinics are different than the MedAdvance event because the MedAdvance event has a bunch of different clinics. So for instance, I think we have a guest speaker last year. It was a medical student from OHSU, and then also they have like bloodborne pathogens and like a PT group. So there are multiple different little like workshops, they call them. And then the suture clinic is just a one-time event where our organization hosts it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes total sense. Thank you. I'm just gonna make the motion. I move to approve spending from surplus
to Group Medicine Ministry, OS number OS 248, to new line item med advance in the amount of $200.
Seconded, Questenberry.
Motion made by Fisher, seconded by Questenberry. Moving forward in debate. You yield.
I yield, sorry.
And then Madariaga,
I yield.
Bailey,
Sorry if I just wasn't listening. Is this why not covered by your budget?
Yeah, so this is we have collaborated in the past, but this year a new president of I don't remember who runs the organization. Anyway, there's one central organization who runs everything. There's a new president of that organization this year, and he has delegated us a task that we weren't given in previous years. So that's why the $200 is just because we haven't been assigned this task in previous years.
Okay. I yield.
that concludes debate. We can now move to vote. We can vote through acclamation. And those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say nay. The motion is approved. $2,000 or $200 for Medicine Ministry. Moving forward on the agenda.
Great, thank you. Okay, so the second request is our travel. I am requesting $950 for 18 people to go to the CMDA West Coast Winter Conference. This conference is a tremendous opportunity. So this $950 will cover the following. It'll cover all of the room and board, all of the food, all of the transportation, and all of the conference fee. Now, if you recall, to your own weekend, right, it's hard to spend $95 on a weekend. This is really a great price. And the reason it's so low is because the CMDA are a governing organization. CMDA stands for Christian Medical and Dental Association. So that governing organization supports and provides significant amount of funding for those students who essentially get almost a full scholarship to go to the event. So the remaining money, we have our budget has $800, and so that's accounting for what it was last year was $85 fee, and we could send 7 people. This year we have a much greater interest, which is 18 people, and the fee increased to $95. So that's where the $950 extra comes in. We already used $760 to cover some of this fee, so the remaining $950 is to cover the rest of those people. There's a lot of things people do this conference. We have 4 different lecture series. I'm presenting one of the lecture series on carceral health, so like prison health, but we have 3 other physicians or surgeons who are talking to about 300 people attend the conference. So it's mostly physicians, some medical students, and then obviously us as the undergrad institution sort of representing Oregon. Great opportunity to network. I actually got my summer internship working at OHSU by networking at that event. People love it. And also, again, it's great food. Food is covered in at $95, which is hard to find anywhere else. Yes, let's see. And then I can share a little bit more about the agenda if you guys are curious. But essentially, we're leaving on Friday at 3 p.m. We're going to Cannon Beach, so we'll get there around 6 p.m. It's a 3-hour drive. And then we have a dinner that night, and then one of the first sessions that night. It's titled Raising Resilient and Virtuous Kids in a Dangerous World. And then the next day we have breakfast at 8 a.m. We have another session, and then we have lunch and another session, free time. And then I present the carceral medicine talk. We have dinner, and then we have a variety show. And then Sunday, which is our last day, we have breakfast, and then we have another session, and then we have lunch, and then we leave around 1 p.m. Again, that Sunday's a little bit flexible. But that is sort of just short and sweet what we plan to do. I'm happy to answer any questions, of course.
Thanks again for sharing. We will start with Senator Darriaga.
Okay, I'm just gonna go ahead. I move to authorize spending from surplus to Group Medicine Ministry LS number OS 248I in the amount of $950.
Second.
Motion made by Darriaga, seconded by Questenberry. Moving forward in discussion.
Aye.
Questenberry.
Our committee question, I think this is great. I just want to highlight I love this cost, and part of that is because it's here on the West Coast, right here in the state, Cannon Beach. And so when we were looking at some of those bigger asks today, that's because they were not in the state. So thank you all for finding a great conference to come in the state and the beach. Woo, adios.
I don't know.
Yeah, I just really quickly wanted to just triple check that this is $950 and not 9,500.
Yeah, I 950. I mean, if you want to give me 9,500, I wouldn't complain. But no, we just need 950.
Awesome. Well, congratulations. That's it. That's very impressive. I'll call the question.
Perez, or no. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say nay. And the motion's passed. Congrats, Tanner. Have fun.
Great. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks for hanging out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Take care.
All right, moving into our not end of term, beginning of term. Finance committee update starting with PFC Chair Senator Peters.
Yo, we've got one more week of PFC hearings after tomorrow and Friday, so look forward to that. If you haven't gone yet, you should. And we have about $200, not $200 left of our benchmark. So that's exciting. Yeah. It's looking pretty good. I mean, we've been reducing budgets a lot. We are still anticipating that we're probably going to have to do recalls, which means that we're going to have to call organizations budgets. We've already approved a second hearing so that we can ask them to reduce their budgets even more, just to try and get as close as we can to that percent line. Only other thing is on Friday at 4 p.m. right here in this room will be the hearing for ASUO exec. I was also Senate and Concord, but yeah. So it could be here in this room. It should be pretty easy percentage. But if you care about any of those budgets, or just want to come and make sure that again, like I've been saying this whole term, we make sure that we hold ourselves to the same standards that we are holding student boards to, as I'm sure you all know. It's been a hard budget season for us in PNC. I really, really recommend that. And
Come on Friday, because you can still hikes waste your opinion. You just can't vote. So yes.
Oh yeah, and then so next week's last week of budget hearings, week after that is when we're going to be starting appeals. That's if organizations want to appeal their budget that was approved, then they can come to us Monday or Tuesday and Wednesday of that week. The week after that is recalls, and then it's budget bonanza. So get excited. Thank you.
Contracts Finance Committee, Senator Taylor.
I'll also be really short. We're still working through our budget hearings. We have 2 left. Ideally, they both get done next week. But yeah, that's all. We'll do our budget hearing. Yeah.
Departments Finance Committee, Senator Hofferman.
Hey everybody, we have, gosh, how many is it left? 2, 3, 4, 5 more budget hearings, possibly 6, but I don't think that one is going to happen. So yeah, if you're interested in attending, you do have to attend 2 DFC budget hearings. So I would suggest doing that soon. We have 2 tomorrow from 5:30 to 6:30. That'll be SGES and University Theater. And then Friday, if you want to go to a really exciting one, will be Duck Rides at 3:45. Both of these budget hearings are going to be in the EMU 131. Which is the Hawaii room, and that is like over a bunch of the way. Yeah, we are really excited to finish up all of our budget hearings. The way that we have been doing them, we actually haven't voted on anything yet, and we're voting at the very end of our hearings. So we probably won't get any recalls because we will just vote next week, which is kind of different. But yeah, let us know if you have any questions or if you want to attend any of those ones this week. And if you want a Zoom option,
do that for you. I yield.
Awesome. Thank you to the finance chairs. Going into Senate executive updates, academic chair Stevenson.
Okay, pretty big update for you guys that are not in AC. We're doing class wraps right now. We're talking about the General Assembly. Yeah, heavily inspired by Osprey. And I'm trying to think if there are other things. Osprey, yeah, that whatever you guys want. That is irrelevant. But we were doing class wraps as the general theme there. After that. I was gonna say, Bridget, did you want to do your announcement or no?
Yeah, I'm gonna wait on that till after class wrap.
Cool. Okay, thank you, Aiko. Secret announcement for later, yeah.
Wait,
Thank
were
you,
you talking
Aiko.
about the?
Alright, moving to ombuds person efforts.
Like everyone else said, finance committee hearings are wrapping up really soon, so everybody has to go to 3 PFC, 2 DFC, 1 CFC. Go to them now and fill out the form so that I mark you as present. Get your office hours in at the end of the week. I think a lot of you guys are in the office, so I know everyone's finding times that work for them, which is good. And I have a question for Marisol. You said 4 p.m. was the ASUO exec and senate, but your email said 3. Which one did?
We had to change the time because the times we thought were available at the end of fall term has shifted.
That's during DFC's budget hearing.
I know.
That's okay. Okay.
Well, it'll be recorded, so.
Oh.
Gonna burn down.
Treasurer Perez.
Nothing from me.
Hold on.
Let's spend more time.
Speaker Lumen.
Alright, I have some kind of random updates today, but just kind of. First, this just has been in the back of my mind and I've been forgetting to tell people, if your profile is somebody else, please change it because it's really confusing. Yes, I'm sorry.
I like my profile photo as it is, and it offers people opinions by people for me.
I just think it's confusing when you're trying to keep it equal. They're different. The face is not there. I throw it out there. You don't have one, because that's, and I don't know, like people a little more, it could be the logo, but it also makes you more personal.
I didn't know we were sending out feelers.
It's like. Okay, that's my one weird update. Second, yes, that's right. Second weird update, we are planning finally a photo day where all of us together, we are trying to coordinate this with comms. So Jay so far is giving me 2 times and I'm going to try and poll right now when people are available. So option 1, this is during week 3. Option 1 is Wednesday at 12. Option 2 is Thursday at 3:30. And okay, I'm gonna have everyone raise their hands. So that's week 3, Wednesday at 12, Thursday at 3:30. They're not great. I don't really like the 12, but we'll do a poll and see. Wednesday at 12. 2. Okay, Thursday at 3:30. No, none of them. No.
Yeah,
No. Wait, none. Okay. What? Do people want later? I feel like we're not going to be able to get daylight, so said that we could book a studio.
It's too bright.
It's like in the SODC, right?
That's what I want to do for Senate.
It's not a bad idea.
What, okay, right before Senate, he hasn't approved this, so I'll have to ask him about that. We could do maybe like 5:30. Okay, people like that. Okay, I'll ask him about for Senate week 3. The plan is to kind of be color coordinated, semi-formal, like neutral colors. I don't, if people are into that.
You're gonna need to send a reminder.
I will send a reminder,
I'm gonna straight up show up in like a blue t-shirt.
Send a reminder, I'm like practicing this now.
Yeah.
Also.
But
Right,
one of the most formal.
He's so nice for Senate.
One time.
We need headshots, you know? Okay, I will ask Jay about that and hopefully get back to you guys by the end of the week to confirm that works in circles. So they'd say about that. No, for hour. Okay. My live update is I will not be here next week, so Olivia is going to be for next week's Senate, so Olivia. The other redhead, so I know I'll miss some good fun. Apparently. Yeah, it's gonna be all about fun.
And I just wanted to say that next week we will be having a guest in Senate. I invited Kevin Reed of General Counsel to come speak with us about the ICE presentation they gave to Faculty Senate, so we could all have a chance to ask some questions and get some clarification. And we'll also have a few student orgs leaders here that will get to ask that question or two as well. So that will be a fun Senate. I'm looking forward to. If anybody wants to like talk beforehand. There'll be a lot of resolutions next week too, but that's really my main updates.
I almost forgot, we're doing interviews for seats 16 and 17. And also Senator Madariaga, do you remember what your announcement was?
Okay, I just have two things. One question, I have a question first. Because I'm new still, mostly. How do you join a working group? Okay, and then my announcement is completely unrelated to everything, but I already put it in the chat, but I have a song coming out on February 11th, so please listen to it and then follow my music Instagram at Bridget Fisher with C, because it's my grandma's maiden name. I'm not trying to tell you all the names.
I got rid of the C, so.
So yeah, that's it. I
Figure it out.
Last thing I'll say is welcome back, everyone. Nice to see everyone. There's no executive branch member here for the update, and the minutes didn't get sent out. So. Say aye.
Aye.
Say nay. We are now adjourned.
I know.
Yeah.